Stefan, Aaron Shiki, they get the job done. Even Witty at times as well. And I think it's going to be, an excellent matchup between both of them. You know what stood out to me with those player interviews? The humbleness between both sides, not wanting to throw out any disrespect. You can tell they favor each other a lot.
Well, I think it's, you're in this position where, you're on the world stage now, where it's not just about a team anymore. It's about support, representing Indonesia as a whole, right? And unluckily, they get drawn against each other. So they have to face each other. And no matter what, one of them goes down today. So no, it's not a time to, talk smack, have fun. I think both of them know what's at stake here. And both of them know what this means.
Talking about the matchup incoming, we have a quote here from King Skylar. He is sharing to us about a promise he made to his teammates back in M4. When his old teammates, again, OGs from ID, Vin, Clay, Albert, R7, when they all left RRQ, he felt sad because they all fought together hard to give their best in M4 and they only finished third. So this time, he promises that if he wins this time in M6, it will also be for them.
He's climbing up that ladder. I mean, this match literally is going to determine top 4 placement. That's one step closer to third place already, and his head is in the right space in this World Tournament. He definitely has what it takes to pull this off. One step closer to fulfilling a promise he made to Vin, Clay, Albert, and R7.
Yeah, and these are guys that he played with for a long time. Like you said, I couldn't say... These are OGs, right? And this is the possibility for Skylar. There's something in my gut that says they can definitely pull it off or at least secure grand finals. There's just this feeling, it's like, is this finally RRQ's time? And so many people have been wanting it. So many people want to at least see them on that grand final stage. But they got to get through TLID first.
Historically, RRQ has a knack for finding themselves in the middle of historic events. Real quick, to validate our query about the longest game in M6 so far, it was indeed a 35-minute bout in the wild card. This was between Incilio and RRQ Akira, 35 minutes. That's what you were watching. That's what you were referring to.
Yeah, and that's a pretty long game, 35 minutes. And again, like we said, with Indonesia, both teams fighting it out the first and second seed. The Brawl server, in effect. Hopefully we get some spicy engagements in another series that goes all the way to Game 5.
And the game I was referring to, where I wrongfully said 37 minutes, it was actually 27. I meant 27. It was Twisted Minds versus Falcon in the Swiss. That went 27 minutes. That was won by Twisted Minds. So it's clear that maybe there is still the potential for comeback-centric teams to make it work, make it happen here on the world stage. But talking about history, RRQ. I don't know if maybe Skylar was part of this. The longest game in M series so far was in M3. RRQ Hoshi versus Blacklist International, 35 minutes, 35 seconds. Equal numbers.
That's a nail biter right there, man. Especially like M3 times, especially Blacklist when they were a team that was known to push the limits and look for that big snapback rubber band moment. We're talking how many lords at 35 minutes? What, 6, 7?
He stopped scaling at 25. I don't know if that patch was in, but assuming close to 6 or 7, yeah.
Definitely going to be some nail biters. And I mean, we've been full of engagement today, right? I mean, even back in our first series today, to be able to see Burmese, be able to see Myanmar sitting out there cheering, being able to see the Filipino crowd as well, just ready to rise to the occasion, and overall we're able to top off that series. Now, it's Indonesia in the house, the first and second seed. RQ Hoshi, Skylar, trying to keep that promise to the OGs.
Stefan, you mentioned something very important. I think it's time for us to acknowledge the fans in the crowd real quick. Let me hear the kingdom!
It took them a second. They had to, they were a little spaced out.
Let me try it one more time. Where is the kingdom?
There we go.
Very rare is the kingdom not present. I'm pretty sure the cavalry has something to say. Where's the cavalry?
Uh-oh.
Oh, they're here.
They're here.
They're
there.
I don't know if your team's going to win with that kind of energy.
Yeah.
They're humble.
They're humble.
They're humble, just like teams.
The humbleness has spread out.
It's got to be.
It's contagious.
Why are teams scared now? Is it because of what happened with Falcon and Fnatic? Like, if that is a 50-50, what more ID versus ID?
I think the situation's different because they're both Indonesian teams. So I think the crowd as a collective, they have insurance, right? They know whoever wins this, Indonesia as a whole gains a placement into top 4 as a region.
Did everyone get just tired out by watching and enjoying the first series of the day?
Everyone spent their energy on the first series. No, I think once this game gets going, the energy will start to ramp back up. I think the humbleness will start to get pushed down into the bottom of their stomach, and the fan in them will come out, because once the game gets going, once that draft starts, once we jump into the land of dawn, that's when they really begin.
Here's the hoping, especially when the players walk out. I'm going to put y'all on the spot, gentlemen. Gut check. Who do you predict is going to win this series?
Hold on.
No throwing it back.
I got them under my pandas over here.
I got mine.
So who do you think?
You want to go first?
No, you just said you have yours. What do you think?
There you go. You know, it's funny. I concur. I think that RQ Hoshi will be the one. I mean, like you said, they've had a smoother journey so far inside of M6. They've
even compared to Fnatic Onyx, now it's cleaner. Yeah,
it is cleaner. I mean, even both of these teams, they face some of the same opponents, right? Team Spirit. Let's use them as an example.
You have a score with that, Trex?
Do I have a score? Oh, I think, it's best of 5. I don't have any 3s.
There are no 3s here.
No 3s.
What would you say?
Since it's me and Weezy on the desk, it's going to be 3-2.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. That's how the Florida brothers roll.
All right. I want to risk it here.
You got this.
Don't you do it.
I went to social media. I already put it up. I'm currently 100% prediction rates with winners in the knockout stage.
Okay.
So it's out there. It's out there. It's on X.
But how do you think it's going to go? How many matches?
I think 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah. I think 3-1. Again, the collective when it comes to TLID, despite how creative they can get as they were in the Swiss, I think that should be a better ramp up. So real quick, it's a 3-2, 3-2, 3-1, but RRQ for you gentlemen. And I did say Cavalry, I did say Liquid.
Well, in the upper bracket finals for season 14 of MPLID, it was, what, 3-2, right?
4-3.
Was it
upper bracket, upper bracket. Yeah,
it was 3-2.
Yeah.
It always goes down the line between these two.
Yeah.
So
RRQ had the advantage.
So they always go the distance, at least from the upper bracket finals in the grand finals from MPLID. So that's why I say all the way. Plus, I'm telling you, every time you put us together, it goes all the way to the final game.
I just think that TLID has enough in them to definitely take at least 2 games here. It's definitely down the line. It's definitely a coin flip. TLID could come out on top, but I think RQ's steadiness is going to take them to a victory here. I think TLID still has they have very good highs, but they've also had some bad lows. You know, they're still kind of on the roller coaster to where RQ feels like they're kind of, just coasting.
And consistent is good, but you know what's better? Getting the match started. Let's welcome our teams on stage. It's RQ Hoshi and Team Liquid ID.
Many attempted to invade the kingdom, yet they still stand strong before us. They're here for vengeance, redemption, and the throne. Viva RRQ Hoshi!
And their opponents, the champions of MPLID.
The Cavalry already had the King of Kings bowing to them before. Now they look to repeat history on the World Championship stage. Let's go, Team Liquid Indonesia!
And their coaches leading them into the action. RQ's own Coach Kez Cute NNM. For Team Liquid ID, it's Coach Saint Lucas and Facehugger. Gentlemen, I'm getting the goosies.
The goosies. I'm gonna stop myself.
3-1 might have been an understatement. I do think now, after seeing them march on, it might be a 3-2.
Now you're feeling it?
Yeah.
You think it's possible?
Any less than a 5-game series
Would be a disappointment.
would be less than what we expected because we already reached a peak in Bandung.
The Kingdom versus the Cavalry on its way. There we go. Now you hear the crowd going wild, ready for these teams to fight it out. Indonesia's finest, the first and the second seed. Liquid ID, a little bit more comfortable. They were the reigning champs in season 14 of MPL Indonesia. Can RQ Hoshi get their revenge?
Talking about Indonesia's finest, you have here on the center of your screens, the ghost of Jakarta, Yehezkiel, currently #1 in average KDA ranking all throughout M6 with 15.5, trumping just barely his teammate Aaron Shiki, the untouchable, Kelra, Skylar, and Super Fritz. You know why they call him the ghost?
Because you can't see him.
No,
You can't kill him.
because he only dies once.
Can't take him down.
He went wrong like 3 times. He could have got it right. No, but ladies and gentlemen, that is a fact. He has only died once. Every game since making it to the knockouts, at least. Aaron Shiki, though, the stat is still true. 6 games unkillable, but he's still just second to Yehezkiel.
So if he's the ghost, does that make Aaron Shiki the immortal? That's
I
deep.
mean,
He hasn't died in 6 games.
for sure I can say he's untouchable.
Untouchable.
No one can
A
find
little bit
him.
more fair.
No one can find him. Let's see if Skylar and the gang can do just that. We had a chat with Team Liquid ID here. We asked him, this seems like a faded rematch. Any messages to RRQ? You want to do a good Fabian
Let's see
voice?
who has the better retry. Sujin. And be careful in lane because I will solo kill you.
That sounds like a Fabian thing. What did Aaron say?
Dyron, if you lose, it's okay. Just don't get eliminated or go to the airport.
Aaron, though, a little more encouraging. Let's go, Skylar. See you. So he's got kind words. Is this odd? Why is suddenly Aaron the humble one?
The nice guy.
Yeah. Was he not the one who said, I want to face Skylar? I want to face Kelra?
Because he wants Kelra.
Oh, he just wants Kelra.
He just wants
So
Kelra.
everyone but Kelra.
Everyone but Kelra's cool. He just wants Kelra.
All right, let's see how far he can take this unkilled streak. Again, 0 deaths in 6 games so far here in the knockouts. In about 20 seconds, we're going into game #1. Gentlemen, I'm just excited to see how far the meta can evolve once more because that first series today definitely showed us a lot of universal truths in drafting.
Speaking of universal truths, today we're going to possibly see just why the title, the Brawl server, was donned in Indonesia. As we are now jumping into the draft for game #1 of our second series for the day. The first versus the second seed, Team Liquid ID up against RRQ Hoshi.
So TLID already kind of doing their homework. They know that RQ loves to slot up this 1-1 early in the first phase. And TLID taking it off. And this is already a start to a very different draft of what we saw previously. Now, something else they took off the field is the Bruno. Now, Leo, do you think the prio of this match is going to be way different than the prio of last match? How the Joy became so important, how the Bruno became so important. Do we think it's going to be a completely different playing field here?
Oh yeah, for sure. Already we're seeing a lot of, how do I say, tailored bans for each team and specific picks coming through. Not a single Jushin was showed in the first series today, so that is the priority. Giving it over to Yehezkiel. RRQ, what they can trade for is, what, a Hilda? That's a breakout pick from that season of MPLID. You also have the Hylo still out and about. Suyo still there. Joy as well.
And the Cho, which still can be flexed, roam, or the XP lane. But with that Zushin first pick, I mean, we've seen how much of a threat it can be, right? The crowd control, able to have a massive AoE range to give a lot of teams trouble. There's a reason why this hero's banned out majority of the time. And a quick response back from RQ Hoshi. There goes that Cho with the Valentina alongside.
I like the Valentina, I like the Cho, and I like how they don't slot up the jungler first, because what we learned from the last series is it's rock, paper, scissors out there right now. And if you slot it first, with the way the bans are looking, there's still plenty of counter options in there. TLID, on the other hand, is going to be the one who has to do it. They pick up the Hilda, they pick up the Suyo. If I'm RQ at this point, do we lock in the Joy?
win rate on Joy is still very good, especially against its rock, paper, scissors contemporary. And there it is, putting it in the hands of the mercenary. I don't see this getting flexed. No way. I don't think Dyron is the kind to pick it up just because it's clear as day. This is going into the hands of Sutsujin. Going into the ban, second phase. Coach Kez taking out the Belleric, which is again a solid counter to the Joy and the Cho. You just stand in the middle, rather than Dryad.
The only one.
Stop this nonsense.
This is going to be challenging. I mean, already having the Cho on your side, that was something that could have gave the Joy a little bit of trouble, but now it's going to work in RQ Hoshi's favor. You know who else is available? The TIG. And I wonder if TLID is going to try and take that away, because if they lock in that TIG, they flex this Cho into the XP lane, they have some great defense, especially with the Hilda, who's going to want to invade in that jungle. But Joy, we've seen the mobility, we've seen the farm rotations. It's hard to match up with.
Now, I will say this, one of Edoc's signature picks is the Cho, big chance. I think they keep it on him. I do think, I mean, there is the flexibility possibility, but Edoc Cho is, it's known. It's considered, you know, like the pick for Edoc here, and RQ loves the slot. And what's surprising me is they didn't lock in gold early. They saved Skylar for last, and at this point, I think they saved Skylar for very, very last. They probably lock in EXP here. Maybe they go for the swap and lock in Roam, but they decide to go for the Gatot, which, like I said, I think that's going to be EXP, and now TLID has to respond.
What do they put on the invincible Aaron Shaky, once more confirmed to have no deaths in the past 6 games here at M6? Still open is the Beatrix. You want to put the Beatrix on Aaron?
Or the Natan. I mean, both of them still up for grabs. Right now, you are going to have to worry about a heavy dive-centric composition from RQ Hoshi. Not only do you have the AOG from the Gatot, but you also have this Cho, who's going to dive in and look for those solo pickoffs and isolation plays. And then on top of that, you have the Valentina to kind of worry about as well. Right now, not really the best ultimates, I'd say, for the Valentina to profit on so far.
They go for like Hylos and Hylos Meton, or Hylos Beatrix, Hylos Harith, or Chip.
Whoa! All right.
Big change up.
So far, we've only really seen Chip use as a specific answer or a strat-defining, rotation-defining pick. And of course, the return of Harith. What do they close the draft up with? A Claude. What are they trying to find here?
Well, I mean, you get the Purify, you get the Escape, you have some ability, you have mobility, and if there's, you know, Skylar's up there in the echelon where he could pull it off.
All right. Gentlemen, the draft has been settled. Game's about to begin. Let's throw it over to Ingan and to Naisu.
Thank you so much, panel, for breaking it down. Welcome back to the English casting desk here again. I'm Naisu, and this is Ingan, and we're ready to bring you the second match of the day. Maybe we get 5 games again. Ingan, you know, we just had an amazing series conclude with Fnatic Onic locking in the top 4. Now, one of these teams fighting to be the first one, at least from Indonesia, to move forward to the top 4. How are we liking the draft here?
You know, I like the fact that there's a Chip. Chip has been utilized a lot by highly macro teams in terms of getting the objectives that they need, and at the same time going for the split pushes. So it's interesting how TLID will play upon this Chip.
We'll see if the Chip's going to work or not. It's the Kings versus the Champions. Who will reign on the world stage? And it starts here in game number 1. Again, a best of 5 to decide the fate for the 2 teams from Indonesia. Taking a look once again. The matchup, we always get a good glimpse at the junglers, and we saw the talk that led into this match. And, you know, Edoc, man, we've seen him so much on the Cho. A lot of teams, they have decided to go ahead and deal with this pick, make it work. It does give a lot of crowd control, obviously, but the pick-off potential is great. Early on, too, I mean, it looks like they're already making moves.
Okay, they're trying to make a move on to Edoc. Edoc has to walk away. Here comes the Revitalize, though. And now RRQ Hoshi turning things around, might be able to work on Widdy. Here comes Yesgil with a Lantern Flare. Gonna try and work on Dryren. They're not even done, though. A lot of sustain, a lot of damage. But here comes Sutsujin, though. Not yet level 4, but they're able to take down a Widdy. An aggressive start from TLID and RRQ. A 1-for-1 trade.
Fabian, little stutter step there, but now still going to break it out. Sutsujin taking a couple shots with the Soul Sever. He gets punished. It's a double already for Fabian.
Flavor Fav, a double kill. A bit of an overextension then from RRQ Hoshi. Even Sutsujin isn't level 4 yet. So that was just a huge play coming in from Fabian.
I mean, such an extended skirmish already. You know, that's what that really broke out to, and that's where you play in the part when you have a Revitalize available. Mind you, we've been seeing teams do this where they have the double Revitalize options, and that's Team Liquid this time around. And even Dyrant, you know, he had his own, but that's what those fights and those early skirmishes are going to do. Now, how does that play into the first objective? A little bit of a lead right now for Team Liquid ID, but the fight might break out. Witty does take a couple shots. Lantern still to throw everybody from RRQ around, but the turtle is up, and now it's going to be started up. Both teams getting in position. Fabian will hold the turtle, half health for now.
Even now, Sutsujin isn't still level 4, so Fabian might be able to get the turtle, a free one for TLID, and no trade once again from RRQ Hoshi.
What's difficult here for RRQ Hoshi, hold on, Aran, okay, Edok's out of there, is not only playing against double Revitalize, but also the Purifies that are available here. They have to be able to go ahead and follow through with the catch. Oh, not even that, but also just playing against Witty the Wise. The chip has worked for some teams, and honestly for others, it's also been a weak point. It's kind of double-edged sword when you pick up this chip and you bring it to a certain draft, a certain gameplay style. Now up top, still the focus trying to keep Sutsujin under control on that Joy pick, but that's the thing. I'm really interested to see how Team Liquid decides to go ahead and use the chip. It's literally bringing in the cavalry to some of the fights, but are the punishes enough? Does RQ have enough to go ahead and punish when that shortcut comes through?
Honestly, it's just a bonus if ever Witty performs or executes a beautiful shortcut, because right now, looking at the gold level gap of Fabian and Sutsujin, that's 2 levels ahead for the Suyo. We all know Sutsujin with the Joy, it's gonna scale up later on, but how will you make it reach if this is TLID? The aggression just keeps on continuing and continuing for TLID.
For RQ, they're going to hold on to their own shortcut. That's always an option that Rins has with this Valentina pick. Really just not too anything too crazy happening. Even the fact that you have Edok on the Cho, it's kind of just getting stopped in his tracks just because of Yehezkiel has this Jushin. We've seen this quite a bit. They're able to go ahead and just stop Edok from trying to set things up. But really, you don't really want to unless Sutsujin has the ability to go forward. Fabian will keep Edok in check. Purple buff's up now, so we'll see. He's got to be able to secure that, but this is just what's going to continue to happen. You already talked about the level gap, but Fabian now working on this purple buff, and that's just going to go ahead and get taken. Turtle's up. Meanwhile, Sutsujin working on the orange, just going to get spotted out. They might break into a skirmish. They'll fight.
They're going to commit. The way of the dragon. Aran has to use the Revitalize. Here comes Yehezkiel to the rescue with the Crimson Beacon. Gonna catch. AOG used defensively. No casualty for RRQ Hoshi, but you can see already how much lead TLID has, to the point that Aran, even if he overcommits, he's not going to fall down. He's going to do his job properly, which is to delay as much as possible the Joy's power spike later on.
Even in this matchup, making his way. They know Aaron Shiki's there. Can he actually withstand this?
Blazing to it, but Aaron Shiki also has his Salmon Force. Here's come Witty though. They're trying to work on Edok. Edok commits the kick, but he's gonna get bursted down. Coming in from Aaron Shiki. Aaron Shiki got the lead, and also 3 members ganging up on Witty the Wise, and he will fall down in the hands of Sutsujin.
There's RQ Hoshi. They get 2 kills in the exchange. It looked like the shortcut came through, but the mid turret did get taken down as Team Liquid ID gets an objective. Surprising too, Skylar able to go ahead and withstand that. Yehezkiel delaying them a little bit longer from recalling. Now Aaron joins the fight, gonna crash down on Riz. Under the turret, gets dragged back, and Aran will get the kill.
Where did Aran come from? All of a sudden, Rins just got bursted down, and TLID, they already got the mid lane turret. Okay, Edok commits the kick onto Flava Fave. Will he be able to escape though? Here comes the Sever. It's gonna hurt quite a bit. Aran still has the power of Wild Wilderness. So TLID gonna go again for the purple buff steal.
You're gonna take this, we'll see this time around. Sutsujin's just here, just around the corner. Might actually just lose it. Again, there's a lot of pressure on that side of the jungle, and right now, even though RQ Hoshi finds a couple kills, TLID holding on comfortably to the lead that they have, and they'll play around with some of the macro decisions that they have whenever they have shortcut available. So with this building into the next objective, they might go 3 for 3 on the turtles, and it's up to RQ Hoshi to decide on how they want to approach this. They might just give up all 3 turtles and just try to play catch-up. We know that Skylar on the Claude needs more time to build up to get the items that he needs in comparison to a Harith for Aaron Shiki. Well, right now, turtles up. Radiant Armor is locked in now for Edok. That might help him dealing a little bit with this, the Jushin across from him, but so far we really haven't seen those setup kicks that we're looking for from Edok like we've seen previously, as now the third turtle is locked in, secured for TLID.
Yeah, and I actually like to go back to your point, because the reason why Edok is having a hard time or having trouble with finding those angles is because of the constant pressure Yezkiel has been putting onto him. And even Aran, every single burst that he can find, he's going to go in and try to get Edok out of position. So far, TLID, not just controlling all the neutral objectives, also getting a lot of ground covered for their side.
I'm surprised at just how methodical this is, and that's why it's a little bit slower paced, just because TLID, they know their advantage. You know, they can go ahead and play around the macro level. They don't have to force any fights. A lot of the times, they're just kind of responding. As long as they keep Edok in check and he's not, you know, doing what he has to do on the Cho, they don't really have to force anything. They just whittle down the turrets, get the space they need, focus on taking the buffs if they can, or at least putting pressure there, and just continue to build up. I mean, nothing, you know, nothing action-packed has happened in the last 2 minutes or so, but they continue to build up on the gold lead that they have. So it's RRQ Hoshi that has to kind of stop the bleeding here.
Okay, electrifying beats for Susujin. Just trying to keep TLID at bay. They might go for Edok. Lantern Flare is going to connect, forcing Edok to use the flicker. Here comes Rinso. He has his own Crimson Beacon. And now RRQ Hoshi still standing their ground. They're not going to let the second tier turret get taken down.
Now they hold on to it, but again, they're just really holding on at this point. Now waiting for that lore to come up, and with TLID having the lead they do, they should be able to go ahead and secure things. Finally working on the tier 2. They'll whittle this down a little bit with Aaron Shiki. It looks like RRQ Hoshi doesn't want to let it go, though. They will clear out the lane and keep the turret up. But still, the rest of the pressure is just going to stay there again for TLID, and knowing that they can just let RRQ Hoshi respond. This time, Rins is holding on to his own beacon. Edok, though, takes a couple shots. Aaron's going to jump in.
Commits the power of wilderness. Now he has to walk away, because he has to respect the damage coming in from RRQ Hoshi, but that was more than enough for TLID to secure higher ground in this Lord pit. Again, they're just really controlling the mid lane, the bottom lane, and now even the minions are going to take down the bottom lane turret.
You can see that. Again, a previous record, it's beaten by 1 second now. Fastest level 15, and that's just going to be another objective. But they go in with a shortcut. Are they going to be able to follow through? That's already the Lord taken. The shortcut to come up. They don't get any kills, but they might fight here.
They commit the kick, but is it going to be enough? Though Skylar goes in with a blazing duet. Aaron Shiki onto the backline with his Zaman Force, going to be able to take down one more. AOT going to be used up defensively. Yezkiel on the other hand, going for Jiren. They're going to evade a potential death, but Fabian says no, we want more, and brings down 2.
Oh man, you heard it earlier. He said, be careful. Goes in, gets a kill, and now with the Lord in favor, it's looking a little dire here for RRQ Hoshi, trying to defend the base.
Okay, they're ganging up on Edok. Lantern Flare is there. Edok has to walk away. The damage chunking up a lot of his health. Energy shields will be popped in the middle lane. And onto the bottom lane, RRQ Hoshi. They have to think about how to clear out this Lord as fast as possible without suffering any inhibitor turret takedowns.
Here, they might be able to go ahead and clear this out. Again, only the first Lord. RRQ Hoshi makes work of it. But they do lose space, more space around the map. They already didn't have a lot to work with. But that gold lead continues to build up as Team Liquid ID just keeps punishing RRQ Hoshi's positioning, and that's all utilizing the shortcut. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You know, 1 minute they're taking the Lord, next thing you know, here comes Team Liquid ID through a portal, crashing down. And RRQ Hoshi, they don't have an answer for it just yet. You know, even Skylar, he needs time to continue to build up. He's got the Corrosive Scythe and DHS, still working on the next last item here to really come online, that Trinity for the Claude. So they're just kind of lacking some damage. Part of that was in due too, that Susujin was just, he had a hard time in the jungle, man. He was gapped early on, and until now, quite behind Fabian.
Yeah, the first 2 kills that Fabian picked up onto the early game was really crucial, because that opened up a lot for TLID, not to mention that they were able to take down the mid lane turret even before the third turtle respawned. So Susujin's jungle has been exposed rapidly, and I just noticed Aaron Shiki already has a death. And now they're trying to go for Yezkiel, forced to use the Crimson Beacon. Skylar going in with a blazing duet. Now they're going to work on Fabian. There's the kit, but Witty goes in with a shortcut. They're going to be able to break down Yezkiel and Fabian. Here comes the Kingdom, trying to answer back, working on Aaron Shiki. Rins used to the Crimson Beacon to walk away, but Jiren, though, is going to get caught, though, by TLID. For the price of Skylar, they were able to take down Yezkiel and Fabian.
There we go, RRQ Hoshi able to find something. Yes, Skylar went down. but that was a fight that they decided to take. They jump on in, and they follow through from Dyron. But man, do they have ground to cover. Even looking at the gold rankings here between the heroes and the lanes, they have a lot of work to do. Even for Skylar, like I mentioned, he was nearly there for the 3-item power spike that is for the Claude, which just locked in the golden staff. But you don't want to go ahead and lose all those fights. If they can get a couple kills, that's great. But can they actually go face-to-face in a team fight for the Lord? It might be better for them to go ahead and continue to try to farm up, buy some more time in this game because of how one-sided the early game was. TLID will go ahead and start this up, and this is going to be a quick one. Already half health on the Lord, and Arkyhoshi going to be too late to get in this side of the map. They will try to get the purple buff at least. You can see that too. Aaron Shiki picking up Divine Glaive enough too, just to take Dyron down, you know, to half health. So that's what's in store for Arkyhoshi as they get ready for this defense. Now, Ingon, are they going to get past this? Are they going to get past this Lord push in, being down this much?
I mean, it's still possible. Although I believe they're gonna suffer inhibitor turret takedowns. But again, I do want to commend Aran because Aran has been covering a lot of ground, providing a lot of vision for the side of TLID without even being taken down even once. 1-0-4 with the Hilda. Now the Lord later on will siege in the bottom lane. Let's see if Arkyhoshi, the Kingdom, can they defend it?
RQ's gonna have to do it. They get prepped and ready. Rin's holding on to the beacon himself, and Aaron Shiki jumps on in. Lord still making its way down the bottom side to clear out the waves. Edok doesn't want to use the kick just yet, holding on to the Way of the Dragon.
Conceal.
Lord's going to go push in. Conceal going to be used, but still keeping things under control, taking their time. Bottom turret now down. Arkyhoshi will clear that out. Mid-wave now pushing in. Looking to take this. Conceal's already going to be used.
Oh, okay. Here comes Arando onto the back. Edok commits the kick. Plus the Blazing Duet, will they be able to take down more? Arana is going to fall down. Skylar with the Blazing Duet to try and clear out the minions. Sutsujin, Dyron is down. TLID trying to work on bringing down the Crystal. But Arkyhoshi manages to defend the onslaught of TLID. Fabian goes in. Edok has to walk away. They don't have anything. Skylar! One, but there's a Winter Crown. 2 Winter Crown plays. Skylar might be able to escape, but Edok Shaky says no. And then another. Edok falls down. And TLID with a Game 1 win.
What a play, and Aaron Shiki coming in at the end to get the triple. This game, he might not have been invincible, but man, did he come through in game number 1. 14 minutes, 2 seconds in. Very, very strong showing for the series already for the Cavalry. And it looks like Arkyhoshi, the Kingdom, will have to readjust from this, come together and be able to secure Susujin in the jungle a little bit earlier on, because that was where things fell apart the early game. Can they make that happen? The panel, let us know what you guys think about game number 1 in this best of 5.
A very fast opener to this best of 5 in the MPLID rematch happening at the M6 knockout stage. TLID draws first blood over the Kingdom. Gentlemen, we set up what could possibly happen here, and we had so many expectations, but is this what you saw coming? A 14-minute blitz, a liquid stampede, if you will.
Yeah, stampede at its finest. I did not expect that. I didn't even expect the chip to go into the hands of Witty, and just the shortcuts were huge in this game, and not to mention Azushin by his side.
It's what a friend of ours, Ray Ash, would call a witty party. Ain't no party like a witty party, like just a single press on the shortcut and everybody's in.
Yeah, Team Liquid ID was oiled up and ready to go.
They were oiled up. Oh. There you go.
They were ready to go.
That's what you were asking. Is like,
they had Fava Flav on the Suyo, the Blue Yo.
The Ghost.
Which normally, we talked about how Joy does so good against it, but there is one key factor to that. Joy needs the time, it's got to be able to scale, and Team Liquid ID didn't let that happen.
Fabian, on point with the Suyo. A great performance. The Ghost of Jakarta. Ezekiel, again, with 1 death.
Just dies once, right? Now you see, now you understand. The utility Jushin rears its beautiful head because very rarely does she ever show up in a game, but where they picked her, that blue 1. That's how you can get away with it. And that's, I'll tell you now, I think the Jushin was what stopped RRQ from ramping up into Susutsujin's Joy that would eventually snowball into Skylar's Claude. Like, that was the good stop.
And a lot of focus in the draft onto Skylar in the beginning, right? We saw the double marksman ban come out. They banned his Wanwan, which pretty much opened up the door for that Zushin to walk in the draft.
Yeah, and you know, we questioned the Claude pick. When we saw it, it was a little, how is this going to play? I felt like Skylar could maybe pull it off, but once it starts to fall behind, it is troublesome. And he also goes for a little bit of a defensive build there, picks up the tenacity. But I want to look at Aaron Shiki because he goes for bargain, right? He gets the bargain hunter. He goes for cooldown. This man is trying to get items as fast as possible, and he knows his team will buy him the time to do that. And once they were locked in, they were willing, like, Stampede, man, they were in the base. They were willing to push the limit and take it down to the wire.
He did suffer a couple of deaths, 2 more than what he's used to in the past 6 games here. But hey, you do what you gotta do. Let's look at the post-game stats here, talking about damage, talking about farm. And you'll see here that it's all orange. It's all Liquid ID. We did break a new threshold, folks, a new record for the fastest level 15 in M6. It's currently Flavor Fave, the Usurper, going to level 15 at 847.
Flavor Fave! On point for TLID. You gotta love to see it. You know something else that stands out to me, Aaron Shiki, on this Harith, man. Monstrosity.
I'm still stuck on that level 15. That's
Under 9 minutes.
That's almost 2 levels a minute.
Homie was farming for next game.
He was farming for next game. I mean, Fabian, and that's the thing when you look at this team, it's hard to just pick a singular player, right? Because yeah, Aaron Shiki played great, Fabian played great, Yeheskel played great, but none of them would have been able to do that if it wasn't for Aaron and Witty. I mean, the whole team is a full package and they bring it every single game.
You say Aaron or Aran?
Aran
On the Hilda. There you go. He was checking, he was clearing bushes so that Weedy can bring the party. There you go. I was like wondering,
party.
yeah, how does Aaron set up? Like, he's the player. He's the,
You know what I mean.
he's the payoff.
Now, that level 15, does that also help with Witty having the shortcuts to traverse them across the map?
For sure. I think the shortcut plus the Revitalize allows for a re-engage even after the hard dive on the shortcut. Here's the gold graph. Again, a very fast game. So, folks, you have to understand that this spike is actually sharper than what one would think. In 14 minutes, they were able to go 10K above RRQ.
The TLID stock is rising right now. Gotta invest in it, man. Look at the difference. You didn't see a single moment. I mean, look at the objectives. There's nothing over there for RRQ Hoshi for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, they were consistently in the lead. Even that one dip is only because they were looking to finish the game, right? It was only because they were putting this this Lord into everything on that final push there.
Yeah, I think this is the Favian shutdown. That must have been the Favian shutdown, and then they clap back into a dominant position. And yeah, no, prior to that, they actually hit like 9K lead, and then the slow dip, and then the eventual finish. So this all happened within the matter of 2 minutes.
14-minute game. Game number 1 in Team Liquid ID's favor. Now, how does RRQ Hoshi bounce back? Before we jump into that, we got to see the bread and butter of what made this happen.
That's right. We'll give the MVP nod over to, well, none other than the Usurper Flavor Fave on that Suyo, breaking records. Again, you'll see in the highlights how exactly he did just that. Look at that, he's looks maxing.
Yeah, I like it. So, I mean, we've talked so much about Aaron. We talked so much about his kill, but Fabian, I mean, he's one of the players who, when he gets his hand on this Suyo, he is a monster. It doesn't matter whether you pick the Joy. It doesn't matter whether you pick the Fredrin. I'm gonna wreck ya. And he brings the personality along with it, and he builds this aggressive build.
This is the one man I know that threatens every other jungler he's about to face. He wants
to solo kill you.
He wants to solo kill King Kong. He wants to take Sutsujin's jungle.
Oh, man.
And I think that takes a, it's a very specific kind of confidence, and he has the moves to back it up.
Take some flavor.
He has the Cho pose.
But it's a Suyo main.
Exactly. Deadly, a menace as we look at his highlights through game number 1 up against RRQ Hoshi. Just excellent positioning, 4-1-5. Able to get the job done at a moment's notice. A well-deserved MVP.
Sutsujin understands the power spike. Look at this level 3 diving in. Hold surge. And now hold my drink because I'm about to clean house. This was an interesting trade. Look at the trust between Fabian and Aran. Like, if that's a match I would play as a Suyo, I would have backed out. But no, they trusted each other. They listened. And I don't know. Is it just me, or was Sutsujin not as careful as he said he would be in the M chat?
Oh, no. Yeah, that was all part of the plan, right? That was all part of the plan. It's like, we can be humble, we can be careful, but I still want to solo kill you. You know, I still want to take you out. And the comms are there, and this is what I mean when I said Team Look What I Do just feels like they're getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner as they move through M6. Their comms are on point, the teamwork's on point, and even at this last play, it's like whoever pops it first ends up winning out, and Fabian hits the winner crown, takes it all.
That's what I'm saying, gentlemen. That's exactly why I predicted for Liquid, is because of this connectedness, this ensemble approach to the game. I think that's what won them the championship, and that's what's leading them to victory here, alongside their penchant for learning on the fly. I think the fact that they had a less than ideal approach into the knockout stage makes them more of a threat.
And they jumped into M6 with a banger, right? They went up against Fnatic Onyx in the beginning of Swiss stage.
They first picked that Angela.
They did. They tried to do the Angie Ling combination, tried to take down the Bruno. We all know how the rest of that story went. But now, when you face a team like RQ Hoshi, who had a cleaner ride inside of the Swiss stage, right? A cleaner ride to the knockout series, just a overall better record. Starting to get tarnished a little bit. We got to see how they bounce back, right? This is their chance to get revenge from Season 14 Grand Finals.
That Game 1 win definitely gave him the charisma to go into the series a little more confident. Same way we do with the M6 Swiss Dream Watch. Brought to you all by Ferry. Luxury meets gaming with Ferry's first M6 Swiss watches. A special jewelry collection for Jushin and Mia. If you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. It's a brand new champion ring set for the winners as well coming up, and medals. Follow at Ferry World on TikTok and on the website for updates. Let me show you all something real quick, gentlemen. This is what we call...
Whoa!
Oh, whoa!
It's a winning party.
This is the mythic pendant right here.
Just the pendant.
You need to be mythic to be able to get this. You go on the Ferry website and you put in your ID, they double check. And you have one too?
Yep.
What?
Great. You know, I just want to say one of my favorite parts about buying things is the unboxing experience and good unboxing experience.
Is that why you didn't wear it just yet?
Pop it open. No, I just keep opening it and then closing it and then opening it and then closing it.
They come in 5 rows, by the way. Did they give you the right one?
No, I got a tank.
You're a tank?
How many XP laner?
The XP laners are tanks these days. What are you talking
That's
about?
the sad truth, I guess. Yeah.
So they know you better than you think they do.
Fair.
They figured you out.
They figured me out.
What role do you play?
XP, but I'm sulking. I didn't get one.
Are you mythic?
What's going on?
Are you mythic?
Okay.
In spirit. Does that count?
Talk to Ferry when you're mythic. Have a Hello Panda for now. There's no rank requirement for that.
It's free for grabs. There you go. Well,
Yeah.
Ferry, that's the type of time M6 is on, and hopefully the type of time I'll be on once I hit Mythic.
Go grab one of those, make you feel better. Fuel your game with Hello Panda. Crunchy biscuits filled with creamy chocolate or strawberry or white chocolate, whichever flavor you get. The ultimate snack to keep you energized. Level up your day and visit Hello Panda's website for more. Feel better, Wheezy?
I'll get them down there.
Okay, go grind tonight.
I'll tell you what, if I have a handful of that
Tonight. You come back tomorrow.
and I rank, I'm getting on the biggest streak the world has ever seen. I'm not losing a single game.
Okay, what role are you in?
XP.
All right, so you want a fighter or you want a tank? Which one? You go tell Ferry you want one. But you need to...
Hilda, so
Okay,
I
so
can
tank.
flex.
Okay, so you guys can be twinning.
Yeah.
Are we putting Florida Brothers back together? Or is Florida Man 3 a thing again?
I mean, you're one of the Florida men, too.
Exactly. Are we
Yeah.
putting it together? Okay. All right. We're putting it together. Folks, Florida Man 3 is back together. Real quick, let's get into the mind of the man behind the mic when drafting begins. Here's a quick quote from Coach Saint DeLucas of Team Liquid ID. Familiar faces in a different arena. It's going to be a tough match for us because I'm sure they're hungry for revenge since they lost to us in the grand finals of MPL ID Season 14. Coming from the 3-0 bracket, they have had more time to prepare too, so we're likely facing an improved version of RRQ. We don't make it easy for them. No. Don't forget that they're also up against an improved version of Team Liquid. That's what I'm talking about.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying is the journey to the knockouts, I'll say, is more beneficial to Liquid because they had a lot of lessons to learn.
They had a lot of teams to play against. They had a lot of games to hone the craft, right? And you could almost say that it definitely could have worked more in their favor, seeing as they did end up making it out, but they got to face against a lot of strong opponents. They got to continue, because if they just would have went straight out, they might still be that same Liquid ID that we saw in round 2, that we saw in round 3.
That tried cheeky things, but only to learn, and find out that you don't do that. So with that said, it's the flip side this time around with RRQ. Backs against the wall, one more game loss, and it's down to match point. What do they do? What do they improve? What do they fix going into the second game of this best of 5? Is the draft up to snuff for you?
I feel like even past the draft, a little bit of the macro, right? I mean, when we looked at the gold graph, all the objectives went over to TLID.
So draft for objectives.
You could draft for objectives. That'll make it a little bit easier to be able to pull them off. I think it's a good start, right? Try and control the early game. If you can do that, you can disrupt the tempo from TLID, because once they get going, they don't stop.
So at least respect the fact that there's a lot of big objectives and a lot of spikes to get if you farm up via these major objectives. So that's something on the to-do list for the mercenary Sutujin. Slow down the usurper in Favian.
Most definitely the head-to-head overall. Down the line, pretty much. I mean, Sutujin a little bit ahead in gold per minute, but 56 gold. I guess in gold per minute is a pretty decent amount in overall average. But Favian just has this steadiness. Favian just has this ability to kind of pull out on top.
It's a rock solid confidence. It's
it really is,
Like he believes in himself no matter.
Whether he's got 10 health or 100 health, it doesn't matter. He's always ready.
That is the difference maker here between these two junglers. How about we check in on the XP laner? We had a quick chat with Dyron of RRQ Hoshi. How confident are you going up against the LID? And he says,
I think we can win. I trust in the team's process.
But are you looking for revenge, we ask?
No, that has already been forgotten. It's also their effort that helped them win. And you know the rest. Indo pride.
Emoji, make the sound for the emoji.
I'll leave that one to Trex.
Emoji, hashtag.
All right.
Does that count?
Not very creative, but we'll let it fly. I like that Dyron does not want to be a slave to vengeance. He wants to do this for the right reasons, and he wants to win because it's the mission. Because, you know what? Now I'm wondering, when did Skylar make that promise? And did Skylar share that promise with his current team that if we win M6, we're doing it for the OGs too?
I mean, he already said they want to beat the record, right? They want to beat that top 3 placement. And this is the battle for a top 4 placement. So this is just one more step toward the right direction. Even though they got off to the wrong foot, the battle is not over yet in this best of 5.
Let's go into the draft here. RRQ on the play. Let's see if they'll adjust. Let's see if it's all in on Skylar once more.
Something really interesting to point out here. Yesterday when we saw RRQ playing, when they had the choice to choose, they always choose second pick. But it seems like TLID has pulled their card, banning out that Wanwan, banning out that Bruno, forcing them to not get the trade they want. So this time RRQ finally, with the choice, picking first pick. And this is going to force to shake things up for TLID.
Yeah, Susujin's going to end up with Suyo or the Joy once more, closing up all the gaps. And even more important, I think Skylar's going to get a better matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the Wanwan that was dreaded is still available, and maybe that's something he can go in for. The Bruno. Still on the table. I mean, this is a situation where you technically don't want to ban out the Fredrin because you would let the Joy be free for grabs. But also, if you pick the Joy, then you got to worry about the Fredrin in the first phase.
It's a nice gut check. Sutujin has played the Fredrin prior in the Swiss, but what if RRQ, what if KezQ challenges Flavor Fave? can you, Fredrin, in the face of our joy? But we've seen it already. He doesn't need to. He can do it with the Suyo. Phoveus taken out away from Dyren. What's our RQ to pick here? Is this Bluyo?
Bruno.
Oh no, Bruno.
Blue no. That's the blue no.
All right.
Luno.
Blue
Like
no.
it. Has
Kind
a
of like
ring to
Bluey.
it. But what's the response? Cho? Do we pick up the Cho here nice and early? We go for the Hilda alongside the Suyo to lock it in for TLID.
It's a Flavor Fave special.
Yeah.
It's an Aran special. Why reinvent the wheel? Why fix what's not broken?
Yeah, it works very well for them, and I mean RQ. The only big difference at this point is they get the Bruno this time, but TLID still very much drafting exactly what worked for them last time. Will the Bruno be the big difference maker? I think RQ needs to think about, do we slot something different in the jungle, or do we have faith this time that the Joy will actually work out?
I'll tell you now, I think it's a better case for RQ already. Just by putting a hero that is a little more in the meta, a little more prio in Skylar in the gold lane, does a better job. And look at this, running a Fredrin into a Suyo. It doesn't even have to be a Joy. This is clearly, as they saying, yeah, we're protecting the king here.
Now, okay, but also, do you remember what happened to the Joy in previous series when the Hilda was on the field? It's like the Suyo can work, but when there's a Hilda on the field, there's a little bit of a problem. When there's a Hayabusa on the field, there's a little bit of a problem. So I think this, because at first when I see the Fredrin, I go, how is this going to work against the Suyo? But I think if you go Joy here, the Hilda bullies, right? The Hilda gives you a little bit of trouble. So not a horrible pick overall, I feel like.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Hilda to kind of rush into that Fredrin, right? He's very sustainable. He has the energy eruption, a little bit of CC in his kit, which can make it a little bit more challenging. Now, I like the Aurora pickup. It kind of stops that Valentina, I feel like, from coming out, because it's not really the best ultimate kind of profit off of with the Frigid Glacier. We are going to be seeing that CC knocked off the table, though, trying to limit the mobility. They don't want something to kind of match up with the mobility of this Hilda on the side of TLID.
More importantly, I think it's the damage profile that Liquid ID have to work out here. The fact that RRQ Hoshi are onto them, taking out the Lu Yi, would not be surprised if the Vixana follows up next, or even, dare I say, the Farsa. Does Yehezkiel have a Farsa in his arsenal to make up for it? Because between the Granger and the Suyo, that's just not enough. Like, you can't pop the Aurora nor the Fredrin. What more an XP laner? What if Dyren picks up something chunkier? Is the Hylos open? Oh dear God, the Hylos is open.
Is still open, may get banned out here. Definitely a possibility, and I think that they don't ban it out, but TLID can pick it up on their own side. Maybe go like Romilo, CXP, Hilda, something of that nature. The Farsa could definitely work, and I feel like since we've already seen Fabian pick these long-distance mages like the Eve, it shouldn't really be a problem. But then they could also go into something like the Valentina. It's been a favor. It's been something that maybe fits their fast play style a little bit more. They still get the Frigid Glacier with that. So definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ Hoshi, they need something to get into the back line. Right now with the Fredrin, with an Aurora, with the Bruno.
It's very honest.
Yeah, it is honest, and it's not closers, right? They need somebody to be able to close that distance.
I don't know if there's room to switch up suddenly, throw that Fredrin into the XP lane. But they are closing up gaps. RRQ Hoshi watched when TLID brought out the double poke. So Yehezkiel, not happening, not on our watch. That's what they used to drop Aurora out of M6.
And it was a clean play too. I think when that Xavier came out, we were all like, huh? And then it just worked out so well. And that's the thing, TLID is able to play the early game. They're able to also push to a later game if need be. So RQ really needs to dig deep here. TLID first pick. Do they save? They don't have to pick Mage right now, right? Mage is already picked on the side of RQ.
Yep.
They could hold out, lock in the XP or roam right now, and there goes the Cho. So well done. There's your dive to the back line right there. There's your answer to catch the Bruno or catch the Aurora.
Can't even kick the Fred.
Yeah.
Melt them down before he can cause havoc.
And now we got to ask, how does RRQ Hoshi respond to this, right? I mean, Katat is still available.
Ruby.
Ruby would be
They're
good
known
here.
to pick a Ruby on first pick.
Edok played a Ruby.
They're known to do it, especially against a draft like this. This is actually almost the exact draft that they picked Ruby against before. Could be something they lock in.
It's a strong frontline composition right now from the side of TLID. The Cho, the Hilda, the Suyo. anything with crowd control could be a problem. Is Tig still available?
Tig is open.
There you go.
Take a Tig. Let's see.
Oh!
There's the Ruby. E-Dog special. Throwing on a Benedetta for Dyron for good measure. So far, unbeaten in M6.
And I like even the Benedetta. You get the Benedetta, and you get to make up. You get to do damage EXP because you have a tank jungle.
All right. We're seeing here Aran, real quick before this pick gets locked in, doesn't like to eat nasi. He's not a big fan of rice. What he does like is durian, and he wants to try Milo cheese. I'll share a Milo cheese with you if you want to try that out. One more pick here. What's in mid for TLID?
Vexana?
I think you just go the Valentina here.
Valentina? You can take the I'm Offended. It could work. You could go to the Vexana.
Frigid Glacier, you get the whole package possibly.
Stars brought us here.
Wait a second.
That was a
Wait a second,
that's a
Navaria.
Navaria. Another long range sniper.
It's still a poke, and it definitely helps with the setup because, again, no bush is going to be unchecked with the way TLID drafted here. Game 2 has been locked in. I hope y'all are ready for the action. Naisu and Ian will be at your service for this one.
Thank you, panel, for breaking down Game 2's draft. I love it, man. I love it when new heroes obviously come out for the first time throughout the tournament. This time around, it's Novaria. Ingan, it's been a minute since we've seen Novaria.
Man, they used the Savior, and now they want to go for another ranged artillery mage. The Novaria is back. Could provide a lot of good vision for TLID.
Again, looking at this too. Comfort pick still also for RQ. Is it enough to even out the series? That is the question as we get ready to load up into the Land of Dawn. Once again, RQ Hoshi wants to bring this to a victory. Now, based on their lineup, that's a little bit different, obviously. You know, I'm glad that we are seeing this Fredrin start to pop up once again, especially when you have a certain game plan and idea how you approach the game. Look at this, Dyron and Aaron. Aaron should be fine. Actually, hold on, Dyron looking for the kill. Does take a couple shots. Aaron's gonna actually be able to back off. Still revitalized for both of them, still available. And that's the thing, you know, some of this early action to start things up, but also to start things up for you guys at home. If you haven't yet, grab the M6 pass. It's now available. You can hit level 75 for free up until December 29th. Make sure you go ahead and grab it while you can. A couple shots already to keep Edok in check. What do we feel about the Edok pick once again, this Ruby against that Cho?
I mean, it's a good answer whenever Widdy decides to dive. There's the Don't Run Wolf King that can disrupt the momentum that Widdy can do whenever he decides to go in with a Jit Kundu plus a Wave the Dragon combination, just like what we're seeing right now coming in from RRQ.
What's interesting about this as well is the fact that, you know, I wish we had a count for how much damage is contributed, because that's 3 concussive blasts for RQ Hoshi. And if they get the lockdown or the setup on the right moment, whether that's the Frigid Glacier, whether that's even just Edok setting things up, some of that concussive blast, if it's all procced at the same time, can actually burst down and be a surprising form of damage. Now Iran gonna get caught into the jungle again.
He did, however, force out the flicker coming in from Rins. Now TLID wants to go for more. Hopping into the Revitalize, but they're gonna bring down Sutsujin. Wanting more, Edok in trouble. The Queller is gonna hit, but it's not gonna be enough to take down Edok.
Not gonna be enough, but that'll be enough to go ahead and make them swing towards this turtle. It's TLID already off to a good start in the early game, trying to replicate what they did previously, and Dyron won't be able to do anything about it. So they go ahead and grab themselves the objective, and now eyes set on the purple buff. Trying to put pressure here to make things worse.
Okay, trying to work on Dyron, and just looking at how the game's going right now, Aran has been playing phenomenal, unbothered in his own lane. Important to note that Dyron opted for the Benedetta type of sustain, because he has the Concussive Blast and the Festival of Blood, and his battle spell is the Revitalize.
It's going to be crucial for him. Again, we've seen iterations of the Benedetta already through even the Swiss stage and up to this point a couple different times. But that tankier Benedetta, also depending on what kind of item build he goes to, could help out. Whoa, Dyron forced to pop that Revitalize just as we mentioned it. But now here.
Oh, they're going to catch Widdy. Here comes the taunt. And all of a sudden they bring down Widdy the Wise. Energy Eruption also connecting. That's why Widdy He didn't have time to react. He couldn't get away from RRQ.
That's why the Ruby's so good. You know, we saw this just recently, and it's a great pick. Edok loves to go ahead and play around this, and that's exactly what they have to do. They have to kind of catch people out from TLID, whoever that's going to be. Most of the time it is going to be Witty because he's going to be the one trying to set things up. Now, if they do go for Aran later on, then they need enough damage to follow through that, and they just don't have that right now.
Yeah.
But eventually, even when Skylar becomes online, you know, the fact that he already got an early kill will help him scale up against Aaron Shiki. But now Fabian,
Okay, one more Queller. Didn't even have to use it as Fabian picks up the kill onto Dyren. Not a good start for this Benedetta.
Fabian only having the Hunter Strike. Does get a flicker out from Hezkill, so he's going to be fine. Witty also checking things out on the side of the jungle. Skylar joining him. Not sure if they're going to actually follow through. Witty half health, but the Turtle's up, and they are everywhere. It just seems like there's a cavalry in every side of the map, putting pressure all over RRQ Hoshi as they go ahead and now rotate. Look at that push, too, that Fabian was able to manage to take up top, and that's why you see him. You know, he broke a record in the previous game. We'll see if he's off to it doing the same here now. Turtles for the taking. A couple check shots here on Edok, but Rins wants to get a position for this Nair and will hold them at the bay right now as Fabian keeps things going. The rest of the team is already making their way here, though. They might want to break out a fight here.
That's a good Astral Echo, just a stun. And here comes the Jit Kondu combination, but Edok gets the turtle. Here comes TLID onto attack, though.
Witty.
Aran forced to use the Revitalize. RRQ Hoshi still standing strong. They're forcing TLID to retreat, but Aran, though, keeping RRQ Hoshi at bay.
Keeping them at bay, tanky enough, but hey, 1-1 for the Turtles right now. And RRQ Hoshi trying to keep things in tow, you know, not get too out of hand. Again, Skylar able to go ahead and just kind of farm up, do what he needs to do. We've seen this matchup so many times now, the Bruno versus the Granger. Aran might get caught here, though.
Okay, now they're trying to work on Aran. 4 members up against him. He's not going to be able to out-sustain that. And that's going to make Aran overthink, can I really out-sustain or can I really dive deep?
You know, eventually, yes, he will be able to continue to do that. He just doesn't have much right now, you know? He's essentially still working on the first item. He's got the leg plates at least to help with some of the physical defense, but ultimately he needs more time. Even when the Revitalize is down, you know, and that's why the catch is so good from RRQ Hoshi.
Yeah.
They just need to be able to follow through with the damage, and now the focus on this tier 1 in the bottom lane. Conceal!
Edok goes in with I'm offended play. Rinto on the other hand, Widow for the backline, working on Sutsujin. They're going to bring down Edok, and the Star Shutter brings down Rins as well. A bit of an overextension for RRQ, and a great response from TLID.
Wow, they were feeling pretty good about that initiation, and then they got checked really quickly. I mean, even just a face full of Rhapsody from Aaron Shiki, not where you want to be if you're Edok. So with that, they'll go ahead, kind of reset at this point. Oh, wow. The steal from Yezgil, able to get it with the shot from down under.
And now they're going to gank up onto Dyren as they take down the bottom lane turret. Here comes Fabian with the stun. Even with the Revitalize, you cannot out-sustain 3 members of TLID.
You know, at this point, he is really going to feel like the ghost. You know, just kind of roaming around from a distance and then taking things from you out of your hands. Yezgil, once again, loves these long-range heroes. You know, we saw the preview of the Xavier earlier on, and now with the Novaria. This turtle, though, definitely going to the hands of TLID. Everybody not wanting to approach this area. They don't want to get whittled down. They don't want to get caught. Witty as well, holding down that front side with Aaron. So this is, once again, a lead for TLID that they can just capitalize on. Just like in the previous game, RRQ Hoshi trying to scrap up what they can, and every time their flickers are down, they could get caught out. You know, they could easily get taken down by a setup from TLID.
And just like that, Aran's just going to hide in the bush, use the passive, heal up, and then continue his dominance, his over-aggression, providing a lot of vision for TLID. They do, however, have a 3.8k gold lead. Now they go on a conceal. They might go for Dyren down bottom.
They went down there, but Dyren able to get back, disengages. Skylar is going to be the saving grace right now, at least in terms of this Bruno, already sitting at 2-0. Working on his next item. He's got the Haas Claws and Berserker's Fury already locked in, so working on his next Malefic Gun. Once he gets that, once that's locked in, he will be able to actually go ahead and fight with space and some of that extra range to keep TLID in check. But right now, they just need so much time, because look at the pressure Fabian's doing alone by himself. They might try to go for Fabian.
They're trying to go for Fabian, though. But again, it's not going to continue. Edok Commits already the I'm offended play onto Aran, but Aran remains unbothered. As TLID, just look at the macro. Just look at how they're controlling the map. They have tanky frontliners in Widdy and Aran. So right now, RRQ Hoshi's having a hard time trying to respond to the aggression of TLID as Aaron Shiki will get the turret up top.
Turret falls and TLID looking for more. A couple shots always from a distance. And Yehezkel, all he has is a glowing wand. He's got the enchanted talisman at this point. So he's going to continue to build up. And Fabian, you know, you can already see the previews of the damage. That's why Leo was talking about the damage profile. You know, that was what's important, especially for TLID. It's hard to play against that when you have this kind of range. You know, how do you approach these fights when you have to get in range to set things up if you're RRQ Hoshi? You know, you're not going to be starting anything from this. Dyren.
Okay, Power of Wilderness will connect. And now they're trying to gank up onto Dyren. Fabiando still has the Queller. He's not going to commit it. Dyren escapes with Electro Final Blow. Again with Star Shatter connecting onto Skylar, the proper target, and TLID. Oh, winning with a kick! Catching Enoch right away as they try to work on the Lord. And all of a sudden, TLID, they're stepping on the gas. Aran has to revitalize though. Widdy again with a conceal. He has the Jit Kundu. Will he commit it though? TLID.
Wow, they're going to get actually forced off. So with that, it is going to reset, so doesn't matter. They go in for it.
Flicker in, Fidget Glacier, but Aran is going to get caught here. Taunt, Energy Eruption, and Dyren finally has a kill. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and RRQ Hoshi kiting away the Lord.
Aran's out of this, and now still fighting for this Lord, getting in position. Dyren does have that Revitalize available if he decides to kind of go in, tank things up. Widdy, though, once again, has the Way of the Dragon available.
That's Sonata.
Uh-oh.
And they blocked it. They blocked that Sonata coming in from Hiroshiki. And Sutsujin just soaking up the damage. He's going to fall down. Enoch as well. But a kill spree coming in from Skylar. Now they're trying to work on Dyren. A 2-for-1 trade. Widdy for the price of Enoch and Sutsujin.
I think they're still going to try to delay this out. Aaron Shiki, though, and Skylar in the mid lane.
That's another Rhapsody. One more Star Shatter. Is it going to connect? Boom! And it missed.
Whoo! That was close. But ultimately, what a fight for the Lord. Came down to it, and TLID will get that, and Aaron, running for his life, won't escape from Rids.
Woo. Imagine if that Star Shutter connects, the TLID is going to make quick work of the outer turrets. They did secure the Lord, but still Skylar remains deathless, 3-0-1, and when we approach the 15-minute, 16-minute mark, when it's really activated, and when RRQ Hoshi starts to work around, starts to play around the fact that they have the Bruno, this is going to be crucial for TLID to end this early. You
can see it right there. You know, Skylar is up there on the damage meters. Like I said, he'd already had the Malefic Gun eventually for that fight. Aaron Shiki now picking up the Sky Piercer. So now this is where Aaron Shiki looks to go ahead and pop off, get the stacks. They're going to walk in with this Lord. And as long as Skylar has that space to work with, the only unfortunate thing is he doesn't have a flicker now, so he's got to rely on the peel of his team and also positioning. He'll go ahead and work on the Lord. Oh, there's the pull!
They're going to commit the Frigid Glacier and bring down Fabian. On the other hand, Arando got caught up by the Energy Eruption coming in from Susujin Edok. Will he continue to play TLID? Works on the mid lane turret, so that's still a trade RRQ Hoshi was waiting for. A shutdown onto Fabian.
That's a good shutdown. Again, going to the hands of Skylar too. Just dealing with the Lord. They dealt with the push. Get a little bit of extra thousands gold there. Widdy goes in with a kick.
Off angle kick, and now the counter punish from RRQ Hoshi. Forcing out the flicker from Widdy. Arando, Powerful Wilderness might be able to take down Edok on Skylar quite low. And now they're on the sandwich play as they try to work on Sukujin as well. I am offended play. Aran might be safe, but they take down Skylar. Now Widdy with a conceal. Aran will be traded for Skylar.
Oh man, Skylar almost got away. Then they concealed. Then the pull came through, and he ends up dying in that clash. So a whole lot happening there. RRQ Hoshi, though, ultimately getting some important shutdowns and gold in their pockets. Maybe allowing them to go ahead and have a fairer chance against the next Lord take. They've got plenty of time, about a minute or so, to go ahead and readjust and recalibrate. But Team Liquid ID, you know, they want to fight. There was some positioning there, too. And Aaron Shiki still has not gone down yet. So Skylar getting a little bit aggressive, and even earlier in that fight, you know, he didn't have the flicker available, so he was doing that, you know, just pure positioning and skill.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he actually goes and adjusts his game plan now that he at least has a flicker. Still working on the next defensive item if he's able to get the Wind of Nature eventually. But right now, he just doesn't have it. And you can see them slowly but surely, RRQ Hoshi getting some work in this game done, but still how do they fare against the Lord coming up?
I mean, looking at the utility, they have Yeskiel with the Navari that can provide a lot of vision, a lot of slows, not to mention the Astral Echo increasing the hitbox of the members of RRQ Hoshi. So the Jeet Kune with the Way of the Dragon will connect properly for TLID as Dyron trying to work on Favia. And the Lord has spawned. Let's see if RRQ Hoshi can contest.
They are in that vicinity, so they're going to wait. They're going to go ahead and clear out that long lane. Aaron Shiki will go ahead and start this up. Rins picking up the Wishing Lantern. They want to get in position. Conceal already used. Witty going in.
Now they're going to catch. So Aran there. Frigid Glacier is going to connect onto 2. Skylar on the other hand just doing the free hit. Going to bring down Witty. One member down, but exchange for Sutsujin. No retribution holder for RRQ, and TLID will get the Lord. Aaron Shiki's not done. Popping the Pride of Ice. And Rins with the flicker out to make sure he escapes, but TLID gets the Lord with a 4.7k gold lead.
Big Lord take again. Witty, you know, starting things up with Conceal, goes in. But that's the thing. I mean, even Aaron Shiki himself, he's just kind of posting up with the front side and just popping off Rhapsodies and Destinatas. And no one wants to approach that, just because how much he hurts. And so now RRQ Hoshi again on the defense. They're going to have to get ready for this. One of the difficult things about this, as you're seeing the shots come through from a distance, is TLID has so much vision. Not even just with a Novaria, but the fact that Aran is literally a walking vision. Like, he is the walking vision. He can spot people out and give that call to the rest of TLID. As now Lord makes its way on the top side. A couple shots. There's the Wind of Nature for Skylar. See if that helps with the defense. There's the pull, but don't follow through. Turret's gonna fall though. Lord finally going down. All base turrets still up and okay for RRQ Hoshi. But they lose all the tier 2s. And now TLID, do they take a disciplined route even though they have this 7,000 gold lead? Looks like they'll do just that. They don't want to overstep. They're happy with what they got with that Lord.
Yeah. Fabian just really showing his quick hands. Was able to avoid the I'm offended play from Edok with just one dash. And now a successful defense still for RRQ Hoshi. They were able to save all inhibitor turrets, and now they're going to try to look for a pick-off there. So Sejin uses Retribution to try and slow down Aran, while Dyron just keeping TLID at bay. Here comes Aaron Shiki with a Death Sonata. Trying to diss out the damage though, but RRQ Hoshi able to out-sustain that.
And that's all he has to do. Arana just keeps doing that, providing the vision, knows he can take shots, knows he has a Revitalize. Tanky enough, even with the Radiant Armor. Blade Armor too, still working on the next one. So that's something that RRQ Hoshi has to deal with. It's just they have to force themselves to just not get out-visioned at this point. But how do you do that when you also have a Novaria across from you just shooting from a distance? Divine Glaive also picked up. So this is the difficult part. As they get to these next Lords, these later Lords, depending on how long they can stall out this game. Oh, Edok, Here a couple shots. So
just look at the range.
That's what I said. How do you fight against this range, man? How do you even get in position? The only time it's going to happen is when you actually go and contest the Lord, because then, you know, you have a couple different angles to go from, but even just trying to get in that position, Team Liquid ID has done such a good job at just kind of setting things up. Yeah. You know, firing off from a distance, and that's why I said, as long as Aran is just in those bushes, in that side of the jungle, or even around the Lord Pit, you're not going to surprise them. You don't have, like, the Louis Yis or the Chips to help you out with that.
Yeah. I mean, the only surprise factor could come from Edok's I'm Offended Flicker play. We did, however, see Rins already execute a Flicker in Frigid Glacier combination. Unfortunately, only connected to Aran. So if ever they want to go up against a team with high vision, a huge amount of rage, and at the same time damage, they're going to have to catch TLID off guard. They're going to have to catch them by surprise, make an outstanding play, or even just isolate the damage dealers. Try to reach for Yeskiel and Aaron Shiki.
Well, this is where they started up. We'll see if Edok is able to go ahead and surprise TLID. Lord already started up. Witty prepping up, waiting in. There's the conceal play.
That's a good connection of Astral Echo connecting onto 3. Edok though quite low. Aaron Shiki still working on him. Now so it's the Generator. That's onto Aran, but got bursted down by Aaron Shiki. Here comes the counter attack coming in from RRQ. Frigid Glacier is going to connect though. Dyron steals away the Lord. Now they're going to get Witty down. A double kill for Aaron Shiki, but RRQ will get the Lord.
3 members still alive for RRQ Hoshi. Dyron able to get the Lord, but TLID to go ahead and deal with this, clear out the lanes. It is a beefed up Lord at this point, almost 18 minutes in. But still, it was only Witty that went down, so the waves will be taken care of. We'll see again, Rins, Edok, Skylar still up. You saw the preview too. Skylar's hurting, man. You know, the amount of damage he's able to do with just one kick, one auto even, is definitely showing. Does have all the items that he needs, really. Even got rid of the boots. So now Lord pushing in on the tier 2. There's the pull.
I'm offended play onto Aran. Paired up with a Frigid Glacier, a lot of stuns, and they will find to bring down Aran. Aaron Cheeky off the Pride of Ice. It's going to bring down Rins as well. Now TLID, they made quick work of the Lord of RRQ, Hoshi. No inhibitor turrets taken down. Outer turrets are well intact except for the top lane. And now Sutsujin, they're trying to work on Fabian. Here's the dash out. 5.8k gold lead still for TLID, and just like that, you take away the momentum RRQ gained from getting that Lord.
I think, you know, even given this gold lead, it doesn't really matter. RQ Hoshi is in fighting form. A lot of the times it's more so of the surprise factor, and that's all on Edok for the most part. Even earlier on for that Lord fight, you know, Witty went in, but then it was just good team fighting from RQ Hoshi to actually go ahead. And then, yes, Dyron, the fact that he was able to buy time by taking the Lord, you know, that's enough to go ahead and bring yourselves back into the game, and all they need to do is really get past that 21, 22-minute mark, giving themselves a good position for the next Lord. Like I said, Skylar is exactly where he needs to be. Look at the damage already, even on Witty, taking him down with a couple of shots to half health. They just have to play against this range, and who's going to be the one to tank those shots up every single time? It's Sutsujin and Edok both playing that part. Maybe Dyron to an extent too. Has an endless battle alongside with him, and just basically a hybrid build. You know, even with the Thunder Belt, Hunter Strike, and Team Karas, so that pull's not going to work. So still, RQ Hoshi, the work's cut out for them. You know, it's not easy sailing at all, but they will go ahead and get prepared because the battle is going to break out for that Lord 30 seconds from now.
You really have to find a huge pick-off here, regardless whoever it is. RQ Hoshi, they don't have the advantage here. In terms of poke, TLID is well ahead. Vision provided by Aran and by the Astral Echo is on their side. So RQ Hoshi, they need to save up the battle spells, the flickers for the I'm Offended plays that can get to go for the backline and pop Aaron Shiki Spearfire early on.
Edok's got it again as long as that flicker and I'm Offended is available. Oh, top side though.
Okay, they're going to commit the kick onto Dyron though. Dyron buying enough time, trying to work on Fabian. Off is revitalized. Sutsujin and the rest are here to defend. Frigid Glacier and they're going to bring him down. A huge pickoff for RRQ.
Fabian down and the Lord is up. How does RQ Hoshi play into this? Maybe it's just enough to buy them a little more time because TLID will get in position to defend this and stall this out until their jungler is back up. So with that, RQ Hoshi, good pickoff, good usage of Dyron there on that Benedetta. But things will go into place. Skylar getting in position. They get the call to start it up. Fabian's still 20 seconds away. They go in.
Winnie connects the Way of the Dragon onto Edok. A double kill coming in from Aaron Shiki. Working on Dyron. Pops his Wind of Nature. It's going to be a one-on-one. As RRQ Hoshi still working on the Lord. That Sonata is there. And they bring down Sutsujin. Who's going to get the Lord? RRQ. TLID. The stuns are there. They're going to bring down Winnie. Aran will fall down. Skylar's immortality will be popped. But TLID gets the Lord. Aaron Shiki goes in. Popping the Pride of Ice. Rhapsody. Another one. And bring down Ring. Managed to stay alive with the immortality. Skylar trying to fight back, but Yesgiel will complete the wipeout for the Cavalry.
It's a wipeout, and what a fight it was for that Lord. But man, what a take. TLID comes together and now working on the mid lane.
And TLID with a huge advantage, a 2-0 over the Kingdom.
Team Liquid Indonesia finding themselves a match point. RQ Hoshi showing fighting spirit, but man, oh man, could not overcome that charge of the Cavalry at that point. Again, the team fighting, the synergy that we're seeing from TLID has been showcased throughout their journey up to this point, and it looks like they're the refined ones. Maybe all that challenge they faced leading up to this matchup against RQ Hoshi really brought them to their best yet. Now, will this end in a sweep? We don't know, but we got to break down this game too first with a panel. Let's throw it over there to have them break it down.
The Ghost strikes again. A long haul match, one off the back of Yehezkiel's Novaria. That's match point for Team Liquid ID.
Hey, that's a debut, Navaria on top of that. And a Lord still to top that off. Talk about impressive.
Team Liquid ID is full of debut picks at this point. They've been, I mean, all over the place. And I would say they have a great success rate with them as well. Very similar to Fnatic Onic. They're not scared to push the boundaries and still come out on top with it.
That Novaria pick makes 73 out of the unique heroes picked in M6 right now. So we are definitely in a very healthy place in the metagame, and very talented teams, true powerhouses like the MPL ID champions, Team Liquid ID, are bringing them to the table and forcing their old-time rivals in RRQ to respect the potential for this, what are we calling it? The double poke lineup.
Yeah, the double poke lineup, the DP lineup.
What a game. 2-0 right now. TLID, one more win away from earning a top 4 placement over RRQ Hoshi. Can Skylar and the crew turn this back around like we've seen in the first series today? They need to find an edge.
You know, I don't even know who to completely talk about, but there's one thing we have to point out. And it's not like it's an unpopular pick, but you don't get to see it come in all the time. It's that blade armor choice on Iran. And this is this is common. This is a pretty normal build at this point, but it's not very often you get to see it really work out. And there was a few fights at that time. One in particular, the Skylar even took himself out going against Iran. And then we go into Aaron Shiku, who ends up dropping boots for full damage. I mean, just all in types of builds on the side of TLID.
You mentioned that moment where Skylar dropped to the blade armor proc off of Aran, and I can't blame him. He is the, once again, true core in RRQ's draft, and that's what you do, right? When there's a threat in your face, you just do your darndest to be able to survive. And if I'm not mistaken, he was also rocking Aha's Claw. So the math that just did not check out. He could not lifesteal enough to save him from the return.
He was just all over the place, invading the jungle, especially in the early phase. You get to see just how much of an impact a Hilda can have, how heavy of a hitter she can be in the beginning phase. Then you top that off with a Revitalize on top of that. Talk about unkillable.
One more check on one of the heroes here is the emblem on Yehezkiel. This is still the way you build a Novaria, despite her being out of the meta for quite a while. You still build the Wilderness Blessing and the Puncture. Weirdly enough, that's also what Rins did. But it's clear that Rins here is a utility mid laner. The Aurora is used mainly for her stopping power instead of her damage.
Well, there was no stopping the poking. That's the big problem here. No stopping. Yes, maybe you catch Fabian, maybe you catch Iran, but we saw it even in that last Lord fight while it was happening. We're wondering, even with Fabian gone, it's going to be tough for them to try to rush this because there's just too much range, too much damage.
It's disgusting. It's like there's 3 cores in TLID's lineup, and that just breaks the logic and the understanding of economy in MLBB. Looking at the damage output, Aaron Shiki, the Skylar, one of the 3 cores, quote-unquote, for Liquid ID, dealt 30k more damage.
And this is a Granger compared to the more favorited Bruno. You're starting to see teams not ban out the Bruno, but find a way to work around it. And then on top of that, take a look at the Ghost of Jakarta. Yeah, Ezekiel on this Novaria debut. That's 113,000 damage. This was a lot longer of a game, though. This was a 21-minute match.
You could have taken the damage on Skylar, added Dyron, and you're close to Yehezkiel.
Exactly. You could literally add them both. I mean, I feel like at this point, I'm looking at some of the numbers, and Iran also has absorbed 213,000 damage. That is essentially everything we see on the side of RQ right now. All of it together is pretty much Iran's damage taken stat.
On Aran. Not to even mention what Weedy does.
Weedy was on point with those setups, with the isolation, the way of the dragon. Huge and very impactful, as you are going to see both teams comparing against each other. Skylar and Aaron Shiki.
Again, all in on Skylar. That's a story here. So you would assume that the stats and the gold should have been more on Skylar. They should have found a way to funnel, right? That's the ideal here. But again, just the way that Liquid played that early to mid did not make it easy for King Skylar.
Aaron Shiki just way faster at clearing the objectives, right? I mean, even looking at the turret, not really anything on the board for Skylar that entire game. When he's not able to thrive, that's when you see RRQ have a little bit of a harder time.
You know, I can't just give it up to Aaron Shiki, though, because Aaron Shiki wouldn't be able to do this without Yehezkiel, without Witty, without the team around him, right? Without Aaron. You need the whole package, and Skylar right now, you know, it's not like he got killed early on. It's not like there was any major issue, any big whiff from Skylar exactly. It's that when everything else is crumbling around, Skylar's not going to be able to take towers. He can't push. He can't do those things.
And here's Aaron waiting for Fabian to make the play, waiting for Yehezkiel to say, all right, I hit him with the echoes. I'm going to hit him with another Star Shatter. You just wail away. It's so much easier for Aaron to get these numbers. And to be able to get these numbers, he relied on his mid laner. He relied on the Ghost of Jakarta. He just doesn't die. It's Yehezkiel on that Novaria.
On point, the debut pickup and working in their favor. I mean, the later the game went, the more you got to see it scale. A well-deserved MVP on the pocket pick. We like to say, when it comes to TLID, it's kind of similar to Fnatic Onyx, right? They go experimental, but they don't go too far out of the box, right? They don't go something that is as risky. When he's running on this Navarre, he's playing in the back line. But it's his setups that help the team to win these skirmishes.
Yeah, I like the way that TLID goes for some of those unique picks. Is a lot of the times they are in the mid lane. They are in a place where it's a safe position to do it. You're not sacrificing anything too major by deciding to put Yehezkiel on something like this. Now 3-0 and 14. We said he only gets to die once. That happened in game 1. So now he's just, you know, he's just going to be clearing through at this point.
All right. In defense of the Ghost, my client, he is afforded 1 death per game, not per series.
Oh, okay.
You know,
so he's allowed another one.
The next series.
Do they
next game,
stack?
sure.
Does he get like 2 next series?
No. Just 1 per game.
1 per game.
That's why he's called the Ghost.
Gotcha.
He just has once.
Only one.
And for those of you all wondering, if you want to play a Novaria much like Yehezkiel, that last item slot, you'll notice that he only had 5, was a juggle between Divine Glaive, Blood Wings, and a Winter Crown.
He just had the damage necessary, especially toward that late game. I mean, he was bursting down members of RRQ Hoshi. But RRQ Hoshi, it wasn't too far off, right? I feel like there's some glimmering hope for them. I feel like during some of the Lord engagements, it wasn't even a retry battle anymore. It was who could get that last hit off. We got to see not only Dyron get a Lord steal from RRQ Hoshi, but on the other side, Liquid ID. Yehezkiel taking one for himself.
It was this right here. But you know what? It's very rare that I say outright I disagree with you, but Steph Weezy, I disagree with you because those comebacks from RRQ Hoshi were only possible or were only ever evident if they were able to set up 3 or 4 solid ways. And that starts usually off of Sutsujin finding an angle, Dyron cutting back into the back line, Rins just outright almost solo killing Fabian. Like, those are the ways that RRQ Hoshi could have come back, but alas, that's assuming so much. It's assuming that Liquid ID would take it lying down.
You know what? I think I know what they need to do.
What do they need to do?
When you're feeling down, when things aren't working in your favor, there's really only one option. Hello Panda. Guys, get it. Fill your game with Hello Panda. Crunchy biscuits filled with creamy chocolate, the ultimate snack to keep you guys energized. Level up your day and visit Hello Panda website. Oh my Trex! What is this?
Welcome to the desk.
We shouted out Panda once, and you eat everything?
Yeah.
I was gonna offer something to the Kingdom because that's what you said, right? They needed a little bit of sugar.
They're just that good.
Reset.
They're that good.
Well, there
I
you
can't
have it.
help myself.
Wheezy's been here 1 day. How many Hello Pandas have you had, my good sir?
I only had one out of the box.
He had 1 piece.
1 piece.
You guys have to talk
That's
about that later.
better than most of the other casters that sit on the desk with me. I don't really get the whole box.
Shout out to Hello Panda. As well, a reminder, folks, from the 22nd of November to the 29th of December, the M6 support chest will be available for a limited time. Purchase a support chest for 50 diamonds to get a large amount of pass XP with a chance to obtain a basic M6 pass. Use the basic M6 pass to instantly activate the M6 pass, unlock additional pass rewards, and immediately get Claude Challenger Spark. Hashtag
Greater than ever.
Hashtag.
MLBB M6.
Neither of you get a hashtag no more.
I don't have my glasses
No,
on right now.
we're done. It's over. We are at match point, and RRQ Hoshi needed you to get that ad read right, and you failed them. Why?
That's Wheezy's fault.
Is it?
I didn't have my glasses on.
It's because he ate all the Hello Panda.
He's low on sugar.
I'm low on sugar.
I'm putting this on you.
Okay.
Once
I'll
more,
take this one.
Florida Man 3 is in danger of being disbanded. Second time tonight. Folks, we have a few moments to reset. And before we get on with the match, we are going to go into a courtside interview. We have the lovely Michelle.
Thank you, our panel. So now it's Michelle with Poji again, and now we are having the ex-coach of RRQ Hoshi, the field with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
So now on the stage, both teams were coming from Indonesia,
Yes.
but I still need to make sure with you which team you're coming for.
Yeah, for sure I'm supporting RRQ Hoshi, right? Because it's my team also. That's why I'm supporting RRQ Hoshi. But because this is the Indonesian match, still RRQ. But if the enemy is not from Indonesia, yeah.
Both teams are your home heroes, right?
Sure.
So, like, did you expect it that they got a rematch so fast in like the knockout stage?
Actually, I already expecting it. I already expect because this is a drawing system, right? From Swiss round to knockout stage. That's why I expect that maybe at this moment, I expect.
So it's like a rematch of your grand final in your qualifiers. So Poji, would you like to bring some question about the grand final in their qualifier?
Yes, sure. So for Coach Phil, do you think, how about you think about this? Because previously in MPL ID for the final, they go full series, 7 games. But for this time, do you think RRQ can go full series against Team Liquid?
At upper bracket final in MPL Indo, we get loss 2-0 first, and then we can reverse sweep also. I hope at this moment we can do the same thing lah, because we already lost 2-0 right now. So I hope we can full 5 game.
So you believe they're gonna come back, right? Yeah. Okay. So from that significant grand final in your qualifier to the M6, as a coach perspective, do you think the both team got any improvement has been accomplished in the M6 series?
For sure got so many improvement. Actually, like maybe from the mechanic, and then, but I also see that the mentality about the two teams from Indonesia, like RRQ and Team Liquid, is mentality up because they are so new player, right? They are the generation player from Indo, and they can play well at M6. That's really good for Indonesia.
So you hope all the players could keep calm, just like the Sujing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good for you, Coach. But before we return back to the caster, I have a question, a special question actually. As someone from RRQ, which has the biggest, if not the largest fan in MLBB scene, do you have anything to say to the millions of fans of RRQ all around the world?
Maybe I can say it in Indonesia ya.
Yes, for sure can.
Oke, buat para Kingdom, jangan toxic, intinya jangan toxic, kita have fun aja, apapun yang terjadi, ya intinya mungkin sekarang kita dilihat dari dunia tuh dengan fanbase terbesar lah. Justru karena itulah aku pesan buat kalian Kingdom dimanapun kalian berada, jangan toxic, just have fun, dan tetap kita support dengan cara yang positif. Viva RRQ!
Thank you. Thank you, Fe. I believe your message just cheered them up. So let's check out what's gonna happen in the third game. So panel, back over to you.
Michelle, and terima kasih to Coach Fiel, former coach of RRQ, and to Popo G for sharing insights on this upcoming game. I lost track. Game 3?
Game 3.
Yeah, game 3.
All right, it's been a long day, but hey, Coach did say in the upper bracket finals they were down 2, and then they rolled it back.
It kind of feels like what we seen earlier today, right? When we got to see Fnatic Onyx up against Falcons. It was the same situation, 2-0. And we all know how that played out.
It is a Florida Man 3 desk.
It is?
Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Why is there hesitation in your voice?
Because TLID just looks too good right now.
Too clean?
Too clean. Unless, you know, I mean, we saw, unless RQ just been downloading. But at this point, it doesn't exactly seem like it's completely just in the draft. Like, FCON versus FNOP felt so reliant on solely the draft. This time, I will say that there's TLID, they're mid, they're EXPLN, everyone just seems to be really in tune and playing to their best ability right now.
All right, I can imagine that there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders right now, a lot of responsibilities on Skylar, King Skylar. Here's a quick quote from Coach Fiel here on the growth of Skylar. This is actually from Dyren. Coach Fiel was the one we spoke with. As the in-game captain, Skylar is great at giving us direction. Since we are all still rookies, he shares everything he knows with us. He's very different from the person he was back in Season 12, so that's about a year and change ago. Before, he had a lot of doubts, but now he's more mature and more experienced. So, again, very evident that even in-game, they all look to Skylar for that guidance.
The crown weighs heavy on the King. I mean, he has a lot to kind of keep on his back, right? You talk about the promise he made to the OGs, his former teammates, trying to get more than a top 3 placement. Right now, the battle for a top 4 placement is what is at stake with their match up against TLID. And then also to be a leader to the rookies that are day in and day out grinding with him, preparing for these matches. And right now facing a deficit of 2-0, that's a hard thing to come back from.
It's definitely a hard thing to come back from, and I feel like at this point, you know, those players also need to start being able to rely on themselves in the game because Skylar is the goal laner, right? He's the one in the back. He's the one who needs to be able to capitalize off their well-doing.
Yeah, logically speaking, he is payoff, but you need good setup. And so far, Witty the Wise has been on point when it comes to setting up his team. And on the other side, it's Edok. What's been the struggle here? What's been the story? Here's their player head-to-head. Stats say Edok should be the better player, but I don't think roamers can carry the game alone.
It's a little challenging, right? I mean, Edok, even in the last game, he was going for more of a group CC type roamer, right? He pulled out that Ruby.
That's right.
When you go against Witty, he went for that show. So it's going to be interesting how you kind of compare those stats. But nonetheless, just the overall element, setup, that is very important in today's day and age with these games.
Coach T, do you reckon it's time to bring out the Franco? Is it time to just shut down one hero, put it in the hands of Edok and say, you know, it's over? RQ somehow end up with these Franco specialists.
I mean, it's true. They've had a lot of them.
Year after year.
It's definitely a possibility. It is game 3 at this point. You could bring something like that out and put it on the line. And the thing is, it's not even just like a cheese pick. It worked very well yesterday, man. It picked them apart piece by piece. So definitely something we could see. I don't think it would be an early pick. I think it'd be something a little bit later. The thing is TLID has such great poke compositions that even a Franco might not be able to save him.
I reckon. So if ever a Franco, a pocket Franco, especially Franco to turn things around would come out, it would be very late in the draft. Here we are speaking of game number 3 is afoot. The Kingdom up against a corner. 1 game loss away from being knocked down into the lower bracket. Team Liquid ID looking to hit it where it hurts. Strike the king. Make sure that they fall. RQ on the play. Banning on the Fanny and the Hilda. Respect to Aran. Liquid ID banning on the same heroes for the first 2. Jushin and Matilda.
I like that they finally ban out the Hilda. I think it's a really important ban. It's been getting through, and Aran is just a monster on it. And the Hilda itself is already a very troublesome hero for a lot of teams. So RQ switching things up, and I think it's the right approach.
Now, with this Cho being banned out, does this open up the door maybe for the Bruno to be picked up first for RQ? I mean, they could still try and lock in Skylar and something a little bit more comfortable. Maybe even that Wanwan could sneak up in here.
See, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But what follows and how
Bruno's solid.
How Liquid ID plays the response to the power pick Bruno in the middle of the draft is what really matters. So I think it's safe to say if it is open, just take it.
It's the power of the 2-pick swing from the red side. which can hit like a truck, and that's what RQ is going to be facing right now.
Which is why I'm surprised RQ continues to pick blue side when they favored red so much. It's like that first game really kind of pushed them back, but here goes the risk. Here goes the roll of the dice. Instead of first picking the Bruno, they go for the Suyo. Quick response with the glue and the Bruno.
Yeah, with this glue, super early. A little surprising for me, but a response back from RRQ. I was waiting to see it. I thought TLID would have picked it up, but it's going to go into the hands of RRQ Hoshi alongside the Phoveus.
All right, a couple of power picks came through. I'd say a few rather, because even Phoveus, prior banned over and over again in the series. The glue as well. I wonder if that was worth it for Liquid ID as they close up the first phase with the Joy.
I was about to say it! The Franco! This would have been the game for it!
They have their eyes on Edok. No way, no sir.
It would have felt good after this TLID, maybe even ban out the Wan just to really limit down onto RQ here. But at this point, in this phase of the game, I like TLID's draft. They get the Bruno, they have the Suyo counter with the Joy. It feels comfortable. A lot of things in RQ comes down to how this Yeve's going to be able to be played, how they can lock down, what are going to be these final bans. Leo, you got something to say?
Invented one.
What?
What's up? I said you got something.
Yes, they do. How worthy is this glue?
The glue?
Because they picked it up early and they had an instant response. I think the glue is going to keep the Phoveus hostage in lane.
It checks out.
I think the glue's going to not only keep the Phoveus lane, but do a great job at diving onto this Yeve and helping deal with the Suyo when the time comes. Like, just consistently jumping around.
But we got to ask, who's going to stop the Joy? There's nothing really to stop Joy in the tracks. Even when you drop down the RWM, it's going to be a challenge.
Question, does RQ have a Belleric?
Magic is my life.
We're going to find out here momentarily. I mean, it could be a wise answer. Put up against it. Not something we see picked up often, but it has slipped through the cracks.
It's been like the singular, it's been one of the answers to the Joy, right? But it's even then, it feels like it's been a little shaky. It's a risky pick.
It doesn't feel very RQ, especially with their first phase here.
That's fair to say. I mean, RQ right now, their backs are against the wall. You know, they have this Phoveus. Hold on, wait a second. Okay, Mathilda is gone. So Phoveus, when you get into the heart of the battle, you're going to have to worry about this glue for one.
Yep.
And then it's going to be hard to chase down a Joy. Then on top of that...
You got Aaron Shiki just kicking you in the face.
Yes! How's he going to get out?
And it looks like Liquid ID have allowed the Granger. It looks like that's the only pick left for Skylar here. Unless he has something left in the tank. A Beatrix?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, you still have the 1-1, but he normally only pairs that up when he has a Cho, when they have the Franco, when they have something that has some hard lock to allow Skylar to capitalize on it. So I feel like, yes, Granger probably the only choice. TLID needs to pick Rome at this point. Do they go for the Tig, maybe?
That's what I was about to say. Well, Tig can go on both sides, too. So I think it's a high-value target. Should lock it in, but they're going to go in for the Valentina instead, so we're going to have double artillery for both sides.
It's very rare that...
Oh!
Edok does have it! I was about to say very rare that Yehezkiel actually puts himself in the crossfire. The Ghost of Jakarta likes to play fair. He likes to play safe. So picking the Valentina here is definitely going to get him closer to the front lines. How do they close the draft up? They still need a solid roamer. What's Widdy the Wise going to play here? No Cho, no Chip.
Tig. I mean, it's still on the table.
Tilda not open. Yeah, Tig.
There's not too many options.
Does he get thought? Hylos?
Hylos is open. Could be solid. You get the Revitalize. You have plenty of options.
It's a counter, well, soft counter to the real world, you know, like you're able to pull yourself out. Yeet.
Well, as the clock winds down, we are going to go ahead and see the Carmilla as the final pick for TLID.
Little Birdie told me that if there's nothing left to pick, Weedy just goes Carmilla. So
when they can't think of anything, it's just, all right, let's do Carmilla.
It's just a solid pick. So let's see if TLID can go for the throat here and the series in a sweep. Let's go over to Jose Ingan and Naisu.
Thank you very much, panel, for breaking down, again, Game 3's draft. I think I know the little birdie they're talking about, again, with Witty and this Carmilla pick. Egan, how are we feeling about the draft?
I like the Belleric. Even the panel called it already. It's a good counter up against the Joy. Whenever the Joy decides to go for the electrifying beater, then just one Wrath of Dryad can actually do the job and stun the Joy and keep them off their tracks.
Ah, man, the Belleric pick has been very interesting throughout M6, even back in the Swiss stage. It's great at locking down certain choke points, especially when you want to be able to move around at the RWM, but we'll see if it's in RQ Hoshi's plan to take it to a game 4 ahead of them instead of getting swept here by TLID, because right now they need the adjustments to come into play as they go ahead and start things up. TLID has been all over the map from game 1, game 2, able to go ahead and punish even just like this in the early game, really putting pressure on, knowing the limit of how much they can get away with, and even holding on to this.
Speaking of game number 1 and number 2, this is what has been happening. Aran just really dominating the XP lane, not letting Dyren play. He did use the Hilda twice, now it's going to be the glue, but still, it looks like it's the same story. An aggressive start on the XP lane.
Aggressive start right now. So far, that's been the trend or the theme of this series alone, again, against these two powerhouse teams from Indonesia, really knowing their own play style and how they like to roam around the map. But, you know, just like our panel kind of broke down earlier on, it just seems like, you know, some of the challenges that TLID face there going forward throughout the Swiss stage, they've really refined their gameplay and their game plan. And RQ Hoshi, you know, they had a great time too. They were one of the first teams, or the first team, to secure the knockouts here. Oh, he's going to be able to get away. Fabian. Oh,
now the counter attack from RQ Hoshi. Dyren and Fabian goes in. Susujin as well. Here comes the Revitalize coming in from Edok. Rins on the other hand are trying to work on Widdy. Still no casualties for both of these teams, but this is RQ Hoshi just saying that you can't repeat what happened during game number 1, game number 2, where you just keep on invading and invading without any response from the Kingdom.
You know, I think we have to wait to see what happens, especially after the first turtle breaks out, just because the nature of these two lineups and how they're going to work, it's already up. It's already going to be spawned up and started up by Sutsujin, so already using just the real-world manipulation to go ahead and just take it as quick as possible. So RQ Hoshi will get the objective locked in and secured. First turtle of the game. Good decision there to go ahead and just take it, blitz it down.
Yeah, RQ Hoshi clearly having they're decisive now. They're really going for these kinds of decisions, wanting to commit. And now they have a slight advantage compared to game number 1, game number 2, wherein TLID was just really controlling the mid-river, the neutral objectives. And this might be an opening for RQ Hoshi.
We'll see it once again. Skylar taking a couple shots here against Aaron Shiki, and when we look at these rotations and how they want to go, whenever you have the Suyo, you want to be able to put pressure on the jungle, and that's exactly what Susujin will do this time around. Like you mentioned, it's them in this game 3. It's RQ Hoshi to set the pace and find even the space in enemy territory in the jungle to go ahead and take it if they can. But with Team Liquid ID's lineup, you know, this is a more of a slow burn, if you will. If you can't get things going with Fabian's Joy early on, it's really that later portion of the game where you start to shine. I mean, even the Bruno alone, early Haasclaws already picked up to just deal with the trading happening in the gold lane. And then, again, having Witty here. Oh, hold on, top side.
Sutsujin joins the picture now. Fabian with electrifying beats, but Dyren just going in for the Infernal Pursuit out, sustaining damage coming in from TLID, even forcing Aran to use a split just to walk away.
Very interesting too, you know, not even needing any Revitalize up there because Witty's down here protecting that gold lane, and now they might make a play. Witty's gonna be fine, still holds on, and that's the thing, you know, with this Carmilla pick, is once you are able to go ahead and tank up some of that damage and then lay down a Curse of Blood and set things up, I'm wondering if they'll be able to capitalize on that, because Yehezkiel will most likely, I would say the majority of the time at least, take the real world manipulation like he has right now.
Yeah.
But we could see him change things up, you know? So far, every single lane though has just been a duel, you know, back and forth between the XP and the gold, while both teams just kind of the trio mid lanes go and rotate together, leading into this objective now. Second turn of the game going to be smarted up by RQ Hoshi. But it looks like this time around, TLID still won't make it in time. So now 2 for 2. RQ Hoshi building up on the gold lead now. Nice and comfortable at this point.
Yeah. And the thing is, even if we've seen a lot of... Oh, onto the bottom lane though. They want to extend their lead by trying to go for the gold lane. 4 members of RRQ Hoshi rotating down bottom.
Oh man, everybody's gonna show up for this one. Witty taking a couple shots, RWM set up to cut them off.
Oh, but yes, Gil has his own RWM. Now the tides have turned for TLID, trying to work on Edox though. Wrath of Giant will connect. All the while, Skylar just dishing out the damage. That's why Fabian wants to go for the backline. Electrifying Beat's gonna connect onto Skylar. They might be able to bring him down, and they will do so successfully. A shutdown onto Skylar. Rins, split, will bring him down as well. Dyron doing his best with his Infernal Pursuit, but up against 4, that's too much for him to handle.
Oh man, they wanted the fight, and they tried, but Team Liquid ID comes out with the win in the exchange. Really great positioning from Aaron Shiki, even not to go down. And they were put pressure behind the turret, behind the tier 1. But RQ Hoshi wasn't able to capitalize on it the way they wanted to.
Yeah, that was a good call for Yesgiel to pop the real-world manipulation, forcing Edok to cast right away the Wrath of Dryad. That's why it gave an opening for Fabian to just go for Skylar with the electrifying beat, because there was no catch during that time. They were able to maximize the kit that they have because they know that RRQ Hoshi expended a lot on trying to bring down Yesgiel.
I'm even surprised because Drian went in, he flickered forward, but still couldn't cap out a kill from it, so they're still killless here for RQ Hoshi. But the fact that they got the objectives early on, you know, it's nothing too crazy. The gold lead that they had was diminished. So this is the adjustment time, and also where TLID's lineup starts to shine a little bit more. Maybe still they have a hard time getting this next turtle, but by the time we get to those lords, TLID will have the itemization that they need. We'll see, they're getting in position to go ahead and contest this as they rotate up here towards the top. Aaron Shiki starts it up, and Aran keeping them at bay for now, but Edok there also on the front side. Both teams still, Yehezkiel holding on to the RWM, has it available, so both junglers now getting in position. Skylar a part of this fight too. Doesn't have that much just yet, but they're gonna go ahead and stand off for the turtle. Taking a couple shots, both trying to set up the mages, trying to find that opening.
Okay, real world manipulation gonna be casted here, plus the Curse of Blood. Edok might be able to fall down though, but Winnie on the other hand will fall down in exchange for Rins. An opening for TLID. They also bring down Edok. Now the counter attack coming in from RRQ Hoshi as they take down 3 with them. Such as in Skylar is still alive.
Still alive. They're gonna force off the turtle here. Susagen was starting it up. But with their jungler down, TLID can't secure it just unless Aaron Shiki actually brings it low enough for Susagen. Taking a couple shots there, but Skylar there to help him out.
Aaron Shiki with a flicker though. He's got to walk away. Susagen with a sever to bring down Aaron Shiki and gets the turtle as well for RRQ.
And there you go. Again, the pendulum swings now for RRQ Hoshi. Able to pick up the objective now, 3 for 3 in the turtles. We'll see if they can maintain the lead. Skylar definitely wanted to get revenge from earlier on, and he got it. Able to keep things together, but Fabian popped the electrifying beats.
Gets caught up by 3 with along with the assistance of Fabian. You're gonna break down Susagen.
That was almost, you know, we could have almost said that was a solo kill, but it wasn't. But still trying there, of course, fighting in the jungle right now. But TLID has some work to do. They got to be able to go ahead and farm up what they need. Aaron Shiki, you know, hasn't had the best time to farm up on the Bruno, and Skylar as well. Both gold laners start to shine later on, but even looking at the itemization, still working on the third one. Aaron Shiki, again, he had the Hoskloss rushed. He's now got the Berserker's Fury, and over on the other side, Skylar, BOD, Hunter Strike, now locked in, still working on the next. Once that Malefic Gun comes up, that's always where we see the power spike, especially with the Bruno. So Witty, dropping the Curse of Blood.
Forcing out the flickers from RRQ Hoshi. 2 real world manipulations connecting. And TLID just trying to soak up the damage. Here comes the Thought Force to use the split to try and walk away.
Yeah, he's gonna just go ahead, get out of there. Burning the split. It's gonna be fine, he's tanky enough. See it, he also picks up the Dominus Ice. So they're just trying to hold on to the tier 1. Again, these are so crucial leading into that first Lord. All for the space. Witty though.
Okay, Witty with the Sun onto Rin. Now the attack from TLID. Wrath of Dryad will connect though. Fabian gonna chase after Rin with an electrifying beat. Gonna take down one. Susagen on the other hand. They want to right back. Rin goes in. Infernal Pursuit. Gonna bring down Aaron Shiki. He's gonna fall down also. But the problem is TLID. They lost Aaron Shiki.
Oh man, Dyron jumps in again, but under the turret. We'll just get told to sit down. No airtime for you. So 2 down, the 2 for 1 exchange. Lord is up now. RQ Hoshi still holding on to a lead, but you can see how how they have to dissect these team fights because of the fact that we also usually see 2 real-world manipulations come up, and they have to play around that. Yehezkiel taking a couple of Rhapsody shots. Oh, bobbing and weaving, trying to get out. Oh!
One more. That's Sonata. But Witty is there to try and make sure to block out the damage coming in from Skylar. Now the Lord has responded here. RRQ Hoshi, 5 members are surrounding the Lord pit.
RQ Hoshi's going to blitz this. They're going to try to delay it for TLID. There they go,
And
but
they
it's
get the
secured.
Lord.
Sutsujin, again, all of that with Yehezkiel getting forced to basically go heal back up. They didn't have a choice, so they just see it. Great decision for RQ Hoshi to go ahead and just secure the Lord.
It's really the pokes that comes from Skylar and the range also that you get from Rins. Just look at that. Not even full committing, not even full diving onto the members of TLID. They're able to force TLID to walk away, to retreat, because the damage coming in from Skylar with the Death Sonata is just too much. And as they make quick work on the mid lane turret, they have that Lord up top.
They have the Lord pushing in BOD now for Sutsujin. Also Skylar, he picked up the Sky Piercer earlier on. So there was a little bit of push there from Fabian down in the bottom side. Might still try to cut that wave a little bit longer. Well, the rest of the team deals with this Lord. A Malefic Gun now for Aaron Shiki. Edok going in position.
Goins in, paired up with a real world manipulation. Here comes the Death
Oh!
and the Queller to bring down Yehezkiel. 1 member down for TLID. They're trying to get to make quick work of this Lord. No inhibitor turrets will be taken down, but RRQ Hoshi, they ain't playing around. They want to go for more. They're going to pop the energy shields in the mid lane. TLID has to defend this.
Energy shields are going to be popped. They still hold on, of course, after just that first push with the Lord. But man, RQ Hoshi able to go ahead and cap out some kills, get turrets. This is exactly what they need. Fabian, though, might be starting a fight.
Oh, okay, electrifying beats is there. Forced to use out the Wrath of Dryad coming in from Edok. No casualties still for TLID, and they managed to save the inhibitor turrets.
That's really one of the things that TLID has to do. If they can get the Wrath of the Dryad ultimate out from Edok, then that's a big piece of utility that's gone, because that is locking down the members of TLID when they try to rush forward. We saw that exchange earlier on in the mid lane, and so that's why you see them working so hard for it, even if it's Aaron, even if it's Fabian to an extent.
Okay.
Witty, oh, they're going to press it in again.
Forced out the flicker from Skylar. Real manipulation coming in from Yehezkiel, but going to be taken down by the original one. Rins is going to pick up a kill, plus Sutsujin, a double, and now Dyron enters the picture, going to bring down Aran and Aaron Shaky as well. A double for Sutsujin. Fabian has to retreat, but it looks like RRQ Hoshi, they're going to circle around Fabian.
Fabian on the run, still in the mid lane. It's going to be pushed by Sutsujin. He's all left alone. Fabian, he gets out, but look at the base it's being worked on.
Now RRQ Hoshi, with a beautifully executed play, will manage to extend the series and take game 3.
RQ Hoshi takes a game in the series. It's not going to be a sweep today, but TLID, great adjustment this time around with the draft, and the execution was exactly what they needed. Now, can they continue to do that? Can we get another 5-game series on our hands, just like we had in our first matchup? Well, for RQ Hoshi, that's what they have to answer. Can they continue to do that? Can they taste the victory again in this 5-game series?
I think they can. They have to regain back their momentum. They have answered the problems that they've been facing for the past 2 games. And let's see how TLID will react towards a Game 3 loss up against RRQ Hoshi.
See what adjustments are made, but we'll also see what our panel has to say about this game. Gentlemen, what do you think about it?
The Kingdom is on the board, and when you're talking about the brawl in Bandung, there's no way you end it with a sweep. RRQ forcing us to go into game number 4. Gentlemen, was the answer all this while ban the Hilda?
I mean, it's been very effective, right? It's stopping them from engaging as easy as before. Stop Aran and what he's comfortable on, but also you manifested it, Leo. You talked about the Belleric being a potential answer to the Joy.
I think it was stacking circumstance, like just the matter of the Hilda ban, the Belleric into the Joy, Skylar on a solid pick, the first pick Suyo and Sutsujin too.
Yeah, I feel like everything kind of worked out in that draft. For the first time, they felt a little bit in control, and the Hilda was definitely the first piece to complete the puzzle, right? It was the start of things working in their favor. And then once they have that, it gave them the ability to be able to go the Belleric. It gave them the ability to be able to counter the Joy and kind of stack things up along with Skylar.
For the first time in a while, Yehezkiel has died more than once. The Ghost has suffered 3 deaths in this game, and did I not say this? Did I not say that he's going to have to put himself in the line of fire more often here than he has in, what, half a dozen games in M6? And suddenly, things change.
It's starting to see the cracks in Team Liquid ID and RQ Hoshi. Their castle is not looking to be sieged today. They're looking to go in for a game number 4, a chance to even out the series.
A solid stopper against the Cavalry's charge. More of that Valentina. We've seen this many times in many an esports event in MLBB Sports, where the Valentina struggles to find an ult to steal and just sits there. Because look, if you're... All right, we know for sure he wants to steal the RWM, yes? If you can't find Rins, what do?
You don't do anything. You sit there and you try to look and you try to search, or you die 3 times. Another thing that a hero that couldn't do much, the Carmilla, right? It felt okay. The idea was kind of there, but we saw a few times that Witty was only able to catch 1 person with that ultimate, only able to catch maybe 2 people with that ultimate. RQ has a type of composition that has poke along with dive, along with Dyren, who's just all over the place. So there wasn't much target, and when they did catch 1 or 2, it felt like RQ was just brute forcing through it. It's like, fine, we'll take this blood pack to the face, we'll take this curse to the face, and then we'll hit you back in the face, and they would win out on top of it.
And everybody had some decent damage from the side of RQ, even Team Liquid ID. But I gotta ask you guys the question, right? We compare TLID and Fnatic, Onyx all the time when it comes to the X Factor picks, when it comes to out-of-pocket picks. And Fnatic Onyx, their struggle up against Falcons was the X Factor picks. That's when they started losing control of the series, and we're seeing the same pattern happen here again for our second series.
You're saying the download plus the lack of new tricks. At least executable tricks, because Liquid ID, you know, they made the DP work, the double poke, but now here, when they suddenly have these, you know, easy to rely on Valentina and Carmilla, it just doesn't cut it anymore.
I don't even think it was exactly that they did this as a cheese pick. I think they were, RQ for once kind of forced them into this by banning the Hilda, by taking the Eve early, by taking that CEO. It forced them to pick force Yehezkiel on a mage that isn't a backline mage. It forced Witty onto something other than the Cho, onto something other than what he's comfortable on. And it faltered.
And this is Liquid ID when they're passive, when they're not allowed to flow with what they want to do. And now suddenly RRQ is in the driver's seat. Let's see how the defending champions of Indonesia are able to clap back and regain momentum. Let's award our MVP this time around from RRQ. It's the mercenary, the babyface assassin. It's Susujin.
The Suyo able to dominate on the scene yet again. I mean, look at the build, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do. But he pulled through for the team, right? 5-1-4 KDA, just a force to be reckoned with. But again, I think this is just more the story of the draft, which is kind of leaning in on who's the victor for this series.
Yeah, they won that game before he was able to even get max items, and that just says something right there.
Oh yeah, very, very fast.
Very quick, and Sujujin played around those turtle pits very well, able to control a lot, able to kind of hold back line, able to dash around and use this Sujujin to the best of his ability. Now, one thing I want to point out too, in this matchup, very different than our last matchup, the Suyo has been winning out against the Joy. And whether it's due to the picks around it or not, it's just an interesting tidbit.
I think it is indeed that. It's no longer just the hero-to-hero individual stats. It's what's wrapped around it. And I agree, because again, folks, we're spelling it out for you. The draft just wasn't as well executed for Team Liquid ID here in game number 3. Hence why Susujin Suyo just run roughshod through game 3.
And you know what's funny? You know, I feel like during the beginning of M6, we were finding teams looking for ways to work around the Bruno. But now you're starting to see teams find a way to work around the Joy.
Yeah, finding ways to work around it, or finding them to at least pick a comp that doesn't work around it, in a sense. I love that that last play that we saw there. The Death Sonata, using the Death Sonata to roll out of the RWM. Very clean play by Skylar. It finally feels like we got to see a game where his team was working, so he was working, you know? So he was able to make the plays that he needed to. And it's good to see RQ in that type of form.
Finally, for the first time, the payoff has been set up well for King Skylar. Can they keep up the momentum? We're about to find out as we roll into game number 4. The fact of the matter is, it all starts in the draft, the chess-like battle between the coaches. Coach Kezcute and Coach Saint DeLuca's gotta get locked in. Speaking of chess, Magic Chess Go Go is a multiplayer strategy game now soft-launched in Malaysia and Singapore. Pre-registration is now underway for other APAC regions, folks. There's no need for fast fingers, no need to be like Su Tzuji, no need to be like Favian, because all you need are strategy and luck. Those are your keys to victory. Team up with your favorite heroes and strategize with friends wherever and whenever. Put your strategies to the test, outsmart your opponents, and claim the ultimate victory. Anybody want to MCGG later tonight?
Down. I'm totally down. GG.
I've never been a chess player, but I feel like now's the perfect time to start.
This has nothing to do with chess.
Actual chess.
Nothing. This is just MCGG. So folks, check it out now. Open up your Play Store, open up your App Store. Game looks amazing on the new ROG Phone Pro 9. With that said, we are setting up for a quick break. Allow our teams to reset. Allow everyone to go grab a drink, grab a snack, go to the bathroom, take care of business, because you're not going to want to miss possibly match point coming up. TLID versus RQ Hoshi here on M6. We'll be right back.
ultimate glory starts now.
Mobile Legend M6 スイスウォッチ
Hello Panda, Hello Panda, semua suka biskuitnya. Biskuitnya enak, isinya lezat, rasa coklat dan strawberry. Hello Panda, lezat, rasa coklat dan strawberry. Hello Panda, biskuit isi yang enak.
In MLBB, each of the 5 players plays a distinct role.
Whatever it is you want to believe,
But how do these roles work together on the world stage?
Going Suns, who picks up the
Mid laners and roamers are the bedrock of the team.
looking for the knockup, not able to find it, sends who he wants for, takes him out.
Whether it's picking beefy tanks, mages, or sustain, together they provide crowd control and damage in the early game, making space for the team to farm or secure objectives. Then we have the EXP laners, usually playing tanky heroes. They poke and zone the enemy to create opportunities.
All right, let's see, another fight commences here. Gear goes in, it's going to be a lot of damage played.
While the roamers pick to fill the team's needs and support if needed. EXP laners must win their lane and protect their tower with aggressive, confident play, ensuring map control for the team.
Ooh, final slash.
Finally, we come to the junglers, the early to mid-game finishers, and the gold laners, the mid to late game finishers.
Fiery, the god in the jungle, takes a double kill.
For junglers, whether it's frontline tank utility or assassin early game assassin burst, they form the core of the team. They act on the space created by their team to finish off objectives, utilizing power spikes with the early game advantage they get from farming the jungle.
Should be a retreat from the Burmese gold, and they get sent down into the ground.
Gold laners focus on farming for gold to become late game monsters.
1v3.
They are savvy observers, staying out of trouble and positioning well to deal the most damage with their fragile heroes. Do you agree? How would you describe the roles that make MLBB greater than ever? A new era begins at M6. But who are the rising superstars leading the way? In Latam, Maycam Evolve emerges as the new gem of the region. With Aurora's fierce adaptability and rookie sensation Super Nahuel, the Dynasty Enders made history, toppling the undefeated RRQ Akira after a 2.5-year reign. At MTC Turkey Championship, S2G Esports rises as a new challenger. Led by Sigibum's superstar performance at the gold lane, Pagu's playmaking, and Begin's rotation, they are ready to shine on the world stage. In their M-Series debut from MPL Cambodia, CFU Gaming is ready to strike. With M2 veteran Poppy and core members Detective, Z, and Wadu. Can the Sharks are primed to make waves on the world stage. Returning to the M-Series is RRQ Hoshi, the Sang Raja.
Looking for a train as he finds the triple. Looking for the maniac.
Reinforced by Sutsujin's lethal skill and led by Skylar, this squad of young stars is on a mission for global dominance. The Indonesian cavalry made a bold gamble by swapping their lineup with MDL rookies, uncovering gems like Fabian, the deadly jungler, a calculated roamer in Witty the Wise, and King Aaron Shiki, the next level gold laner. Team Liquid ID rises as a new M-Series challenger.
The double, the Roy goes down one by one. It's a maniac.
MPL PH Season 14 saw the debut of Aurora Gaming with rising gold laner Domeng and MSC 2022 champion Demon Kite. The Kite.
Welcome back to the M6 World Championships. You're smack dab in the middle of an upper bracket bout in the semis between Team Liquid Indonesia and RRQ Hoshi. At your service, my name is Leo, here with Trex and Wheezy F Baby. And does that stand for Finisha? What does Liquid ID need to do to get back on the horse and bring it to the kingdom? Because they were in control for what? The majority of the first couple of games.
Well, it seems that the later we get in the series, RQ Hoshi, they're developing more strategies in the draft to force picks into the hands of Team Liquid ID that they're comfortable going up against. If we start with, let's just say Witty, right? He runs this Carmilla, and which wasn't really that effective. I would say a little bit of an out-of-pocket pick, which RQ Hoshi was trying to force in his hands. But then you also have to look at other players as well, like Ezekiel, the Ghost of Jakarta. You mentioned he likes to play the backline mages, but then they force his hand, force him on something that's a little bit more up close and personal, and then he finds more than one death in the game.
Coach T, what's gonna budge?
I think blue side's gonna budge here. TLID's gonna most likely secure it, and this means RQ has to really think and dig down. If the plan is to force Witty and Yehezkiel into things that maybe they're uncomfortable on, do they steal those away in the first pick instead of prioing something else like the Suyo, you know, something other than the Bruno? Maybe go for the immediate Yve, maybe go for the immediate Cho. Some of those picks that Team Liquid ID have been doing so well on.
So I reckon it's gonna come down to the coaches. Coach Kescute, Coach NM, they found the spot where it hurts to attack Team Liquid ID. And now it's up to Coach St. Lucas and Facehugger to say, hey, we can adjust. Again, it's the mid duo that it seems like RRQ is just putting a salt in the wound on. You're right. It is going to have to be that sacrifice on the Suyo, sacrifice on the Bruno / Granger to make the difference. Going into game number 4 now, ladies and gentlemen. Once more, match point for the defending champions. The kingdom on the up and up. Now we're going to see finally who's on the play, who's going to have that 2-pick swing. Liquid ID on blue.
Okay, and they do the same exact thing they did in game number 1. They take out the Bruno, they take out the Wan, and now the Eve is thrown into the mix. But the big difference for RQ this time is taking out the Hilda. They learned their lesson after game 1 and 2, and now it's no, the Aaron Hilda is just too much to deal with. We're gonna get it off the map.
Aaron Hilda.
Aaron Hilda.
Because there's Aaron Shiki.
If there's no Shiki at the end,
then it's Aran.
It's Aran.
Understood.
Well, now the question is, do you pick the Cho up? No, they're going to go ahead and go in for the Zushin, which did walk. This is very
Game
similar
number 1,
to game number 1, right? The Zushin walks because you go for that Wan pick off instead. And the Zushin was one of the deciding factors in how Team Liquid ID was able to secure victory.
So does the Hezkiel dictate the pace? Because this is one of the 2 problems that TLID need to solve. Does RQ steal the Cho? Does Edok take the Cho right here, right now? Is it Chuyo?
I think you do. I think Chuyo. Chuyo's a solid up-front lineup, and it gives you flexibility. It gives you answers. The Wan and the Bruno are already gone. But then you do offer up that Granger, right? So maybe they lock in the Granger here. No, Aurora.
Surora.
Yo. We're reaching now.
Almost. Why the Aurora? Is the stopper that important? They're clearly, they're telegraphing the wall set up for King Skylar.
I feel like they're up to a sneaky play. I mean, even considering they picked up their mage, knowing that a mage was already on the table.
Yeah.
So they have something up their sleeves. They're not going to count it out just yet. But TLID, they're not going to waste any time on the draft. Going to go ahead and pick up this glue alongside the Alpha.
It's clear that their focus is still on Aran. They know that Aran is such a game changer, no matter what hero he picks. So, you know what? We'll still pick the glue.
I see it.
Flavor Flav throws all of the gloves off and it says, you know what, just give me the Alpha, give me an old favorite, and the answer, Dyron's Phoveus.
I'm wondering it, you know, I'm still in a place where the Phoveus doesn't look amazing to me right now. The Aurora doesn't look amazing to me right now. But depending on how they wrap things up, there are still plenty of possibilities. They do have first pick when it snaps back. I'm wondering, does TLID ban out the Granger right here and stop RQ from getting that?
They have to. Yeah. Trex, that is key to understanding the big picture. We don't get it right now why they drafted this way, but you know what? I'm going to stand my ground and say this is still all set up for King Skylar. Like, that's why I think Liquid ID should start batting out whatever marksman hurts the most, because they're going to have to tell Aaron, just hunker down, brother. Aaron, you're going to have to pick whatever's left after we take out all the good marksmen in the second phase.
Yeah, and we still got to see the roamer for the side of RQ Hoshi as well. The Cho being taken off the board. They already have great crowd control with the Aurora. What do they slot in here? I mean, even the Mathilda, I would have said, would have paired off good with the Phoveus, but with that being taken off the table by RQ Hoshi, it really makes you scratch your head. And what do they have in store? They have some game plan for this 2-pick swing on the second phase of the draft. We got to see which way it goes. Even taking out the chip on top of that. Not too many marksmen available, though. Do we see the Beatrix come out? Do we see the Claude come out?
Trex, you're onto something. Even RQ understands that it's really not Aaron that's a problem. It's that mid-duo, so they're continuing to attack Weedy.
Either now, since, listen, we know that at least Jushin got, okay, you got the Jushin, but now it's, let's see if we can force, because my mind was going to the same place. Well, last time we guessed Tig, but they didn't go Tig. Maybe they force Witty onto something like the Carmilla again, because what the little bird tell you?
Carmilla's like a nothing pick for Weedy.
Like when we don't know where to go.
It's what he gets when there's nothing left.
So do they save? So do they lock in Marksman right now, or do they lock in the TIG for themselves on RQ? Do they lock in something of that nature and save Skylar for very last possible counterplay pick? Last time they did that, it did not go well. They went for the Claude, so maybe you lock him in early.
That is the Jawhead now, going to the hands of Edok. So yeah, they are going to protect Skylar by picking him last. What's left on the board? The Beatrix,
Harith,
the Harith. Oh, I actually want to see the Harith on Aaron right now.
He played it earlier.
That's what they won the Yushin lineup with, the Yushin draft.
Game 1, Harith. It's all fitting into pieces for them.
He went 7-2-1.
Yeah.
Harith would be good, especially when you have heroes that can get up close and personal. Could definitely be a pick. Saving the best for last for Skylar, though, right? The veteran on the side of RQ Hoshi. What is he going to lock in? There's already sustainability with the glue. There's great crowd control with the Zushin and the Alpha as well.
There it is.
There goes that Harith to be facing off against Skylar in the gold lane, matched up with the Belleric.
Yeah, I think the Belleric's a solid pick. It's a big change up from the Carmilla. Still something similar in a sense. Wants to get in, wants to throw down a big circle on everybody. But it kind of has a slightly different touch to it. You get some response. RQ, Skylar. I don't know if he should. Don't do the Claude. All right. So we go into Beatrix, solid pick.
Well, this is different though from RQ Hoshi, right? They're forcing TLID to really think through this draft, right? Even us scratching our heads when we see the Suyo and the Aurora picked up first, we're like, where are they gonna go? They could have got something more prio.
Let's see if this will unfold RQ's way, or will TLID end the series right here? Let's go over to Ingan and Naisu.
Still a match point here for TLID. RQ Hoshi, after a great previous game, can they do it again? Replicate what they brought? Looking at the lineups here, it's looking pretty good, looking solid, but I like what TLID brought this time around. How about you, Ingan?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the draft, no one actually went for the Cho, so TLID didn't go for the bait out because I know RQ wanted to really bait out Widdy. Widdy to go for the Cho, and now they go with the Belleric, and just like what the panel said, the Jushin paired up with the Harith is what won them game number 1. So let's see if it's gonna be the same result for this game.
Again, RQ Hoshi has to win the game to get to game 5.
Welcome.
Both teams still fighting for that top 4 spot to join the other teams waiting in the wins. And which team will go down to the lower bracket to maybe claw their way back up? Team Liquid ID. With this lineup that we're seeing here, I find it interesting that, yeah, the Belleric coming out to play once again, but there's so much that they can utilize here if they want to go and scrap it out or fight it out. Because of the Belleric plus the Harith and then the Jushin, there's so much there that you can just lock down one area and win a fight. Not to mention the Spear of Alpha. So this time for RQ Hoshi, utilizing the pickoff lineup that they brought, could work in their favor. You know, Edok, concussive blast, but most of the thing, every time I see the Jawhead, man, I do think, you know, it's a great hero to have, but it can also just, you're sometimes playing against yourself. When you lock in with that unstoppable force, you might put yourself in a position where, oh, you're cut off from your team, and then you just kind of get punished for that.
We saw that a lot of times, especially when it's up against the Fanny.
Yeah.
It's the unstoppable force in its name. It's not going to stop. And at the same time, you expect RQ Hoshi to be as aggressive as possible in the early game because, again, you don't want to be on the receiving end if you have a Jawhead on your lineup.
It's interesting, too, just because of, again, there's no Revitalize, you know, this time around for RQ Hoshi. So another factor that they have to worry about because of the extended team fights that could break out, or the way that Team Liquid ID approaches those fights, knowing that they might have a little bit of more sustainability here. Widdy, though, look at the damage on him. It's going to be fine. Should heal back up with this. Turtle's coming up, though. So a couple of the level 4s is not available just yet, especially for the roams, Edok and Widdy, but it will get started up by TLID. Fabian holding the turtle there. Meanwhile, Susujin working on the purple buff. Will get here in time, though.
Okay.
How's the fight?
We're going to see if Edok goes in with the flicker. Goes after Fabian with the zone. Now RQ Hoshi, they will get the first turtle in exchange for Dyren.
Okay, are they? Oh, they're still going. Yehezkiel.
Okay, Crimson Beacon in. Trying to go for Susujin. Susujin dashes out. Now RQ Hoshi, they got the turtle, but TLID answers right back with a kill.
They answer back. So trading from across the board here, but still, again, nothing too crazy, nothing too much of a lead. Of course, this matchup in the gold lane is going to be interesting. You know, Skylar getting that Beatrix locked in. There's the jump in, toss up. Oh, the lockdown as Yehezkiel's taken out.
Alley-oops away to Rins. Now Yehezkiel not starting out strong here. They're forcing Aaron, Shiki, and Widdy to rotate because they know they have to protect the purple buff for Fabian. Now RQ Hoshi, again with the Jawhead pick, it's working wonders for them because so far they already have two great ejector plays. One that zoned out Fabian, and now one that pick up a kill onto Yehezkiel.
Fabian will get his purple buff, but the team had to help secure that up. Skylar, first item, a Malefic Gun, getting a little extra gold too. So we'll see. Like I said, he needs that range. You know, playing against the Harith in that gold lane, he's gonna have to deal with it. Fabian jumping in.
Okay, Spear of Alpha. trying to work on Edok. Unstoppable Force and Ejector. They're trying to work on Fabian. Here comes Arando, and Edok will fall down. A little bit too over-aggressive play from RRQ Hoshi. He's going to get punished by TLID.
Yeah, that's tough to toss up an alpha, you know, with Fabian here. And that's the thing I was talking about. You know, when you have this Jawhead, you have to choose your targets safely, you know, and correctly. But earlier on, he made the right play. This time around, gets punished, and now they find themselves with a minor lead for RRQ Hoshi, leading into the next objective coming up here soon. This is the one that obviously will break out, especially now that you have Witty looking to set up the Wrath of the Dryad, and they can play into setup potential. I'm not sure if Aaron Shiki will actually join this fight, but it does look that Skylar might join this one. Kind of waiting there to see if he gets the call. Turtle's up. Susujin will go ahead, lock in that shot. Hezkiel takes a little bit of damage, but they go and get in position. Skylar will stay top side for now. And Rins picks up the glowing wand, first item priority here. They're going to test each other out, kind of posting up around this turtle, and right now Fabian's going to hold it. The rest of the team's going to set up the perimeter.
Okay, the XP lane is just trying to Zoga. Here comes the Unstoppable Force. Bridging Glacier is going to connect, but still Fabian will get the turtle. Now the attack of TLID. They're forcing out a lot of flickers coming in from RRQ. Araj is working on Rins. Yes, Gil with a Lantern Flare. Going to get picked up by Edok. Edok manages to stay alive. Aran split, but going to get caught up by 3. RRQ Hoshi again with 2 kills despite losing the turtle.
A great fight, you know, for RRQ Hoshi. Great exchange. Getting a couple kills. Even Skylar making his way. He used that flicker down too, but Rins, you know, not able to get taken down, and Susujin on top of it will now get the tier 1 in the bottom lane. Great starting off for RRQ Hoshi. Even if at the cost of a turtle, it doesn't really matter right now. They'll continue to put on the pressure, and it's up to Team Liquid ID now. Looking, there's the toss again.
Another throw, might be the wrong target. Able to cast the Wrath of Dryad. Pick up the Frigid Glacier. Witty was able still to escape, and that's someone you don't want to throw, especially if you can't burst him down right away, as Fabian works on Susujin, forcing out the Retribution. Susujin will be able to walk away.
Oh, now look at this top side play. Aaron Shiki is going to have to rely on Hezkiel up here at tier 1. Nearly going down. Skylar still might be able to get it. There it is with the cannon minion. Turret down, so now RQ Hoshi with a space advantage on the map. 2 tier 1s down, and this has been a very aggressive Edok. You know, whether or not puts himself in a bad situation, it's enough pressure to keep TLID kind of second-guessing themselves, you know, on their entry points. More big items being picked up. Skylar taking a shot right there. Again, he's only got the Malefic Gun, still working on the BOD. And then even some of the defensive items also coming into play. Dyron got the Thunder Belt. You have, of course, the glowing wand for Rins. And then for Edok, he does have a Radiant Armor, as he's just going to be putting himself in that position.
Yeah, the beauty of the lineup of TLID is once Witty is able to cast the Wrath of Dryad in the perfect time and sets up a lot of members of RRQ Hoshi, they can just easily burst it down because of the fact that they have Fabian as well as Aaron Shiki, but Edok again, Unstoppable Force, Ejector, Flicker combination, forcing Witty to use the Revitalize, but a little bit too deep there as he will fall down in the hands of TLID. Now the counter attack coming in from RRQ. Rins, force these to Frigid Glacier. Here comes Aaron Shiki with a Zaman Force. Tyron has to walk away here. TLID still standing strong with 5 members. Lantern Flare gonna connect onto Tyron, and they might be able to take down Witty with him, as Tyron will also fall down. Another kill for Fabian.
Oh, they're slowed so much. They're not able to get away from the fight the way they want to, but RQ Hoshi again coming out with nearly everything in that fight. Only the cost of Dyron and Edok. Edok jumped in, but that's all he needs to do. If he's enough of a distraction to toss someone to the whims, then that works out. Susujin now taking the purple buff. Now it's Susujin with a lead in this game against Fabian. They get the tier 1, so now all tier 1 turrets down. And even that tier 2 on the bottom side almost pushed in RQ Hoshi with a massive space advantage right now.
Yeah, and not to mention a 3.9k gold lead. That was a well-executed play coming in from RQ Hoshi, just Dyron literally being the sandbag, forcing TLID out of position once again. And again, started things off by Edok, the Unstoppable Force Flicker play, paired up with the Ejector. That was more than enough to set up RRQ Hoshi for that favorable trade.
It's really interesting, the fact that, you know, you think when you see these ultimates and the options available from TLID's lineup, that in those kind of team fights, they should be able to go ahead and win those fights based on their area of effect and the lockdown. But just looking at the itemization, you can see the difference here. Starlium Scythe and Feather of Heaven, not enough, but here's the breakout again.
Early split. Dyren casted already the Witty casted the Wrath of Dryad. Here comes the Frigid Glacier counterattack coming in from RRQ.
Wow.
They're gonna pick up two. Next man is Aran, and RRQ Hoshi just really wrecking havoc up against the cavalry.
Man, right now the Kingdom is rallying together. Every single team fight they choose to take, there's no response so far from Team Liquid ID.
Yeah.
And even Skylar, the fact that he got this Beatrix, look at the shots on Aaron Shiki, keeping him in check right now. Man, TLID needs a lot of time to be able to go toe-to-toe against RQ Hoshis.
Yeah. And it's also the same story once again, just Dyren being the sacrificial lamb for RRQ Hoshi to make sure TLID doesn't get the necessarily space that they want up against a team like RRQ Hoshi as they make quick work of this Lord once again, extending their lead to 6.5k, giving a hard time for TLID, and you would assume that they would actually have an easier time in terms of the early game because again they picked up Aaron Shiki with the Hadith, they also have Fabian with the Alpha that has true damage. So right now, what can you do? Because so far, even if Widdy manages to catch the cast the Wrath of Dryad, there's always a response from Rince with the Frigid Glacier forcing TLID to retreat.
It's getting to that point where Skylar is locked and loaded. He is just zoned in. He's got a Sky Piercer now too. So Malefic Gun, BOD Sky Piercer. And you already got a preview of how much that render shot is gonna hurt. And so it's great. I mean, if you think about it, like we were saying, you know, you set up those things around the Wrath of the Dryad. Well, Skylar's there based on whatever gun he decides to approach the fight with, but now walking in with the Lord here, again, a massive lead. They're gonna put the pressure now on the base turrets.
Okay, Wrath of Dryad gonna connect. Here comes the counter attack. Frigid Glacier once again! Aran is gonna fall down in hands of Skylar. TLID trying to make quick work of the Lord. They will, however, save their mid lane inhibitor turret. But RRQ Hoshi, their attack might not be over just yet.
Skylar's just gonna go ahead and whittle down that mid turret. It does finally fall. Edok threatening them with the unstoppable force. He doesn't have the flicker, but he might still choose to go in. Top turret, next target here from RQ Hoshi. They might just go ahead and go with a toss-up turret being worked on. Edok now on the front side, clearing out the minion waves while Skylar works on that, and now Aaron Shiki won the shot from Skylar.
Even with a Savin force, misclick, mistargeted, and just got bursted down by the members of the Kingdom. 5-man strong. Minions onto the middle lane. Rin flickers in, and they will be able to extend this series. Yes, Gil is the only one left, and RRQ never backs down, even against the Cavalry.
And we're off to another Game 5 for the evening. Man, oh man, I hope you guys have your snacks and your drinks because it's been one hell of a night of MLBB for the teams fighting for that opportunity to move on to the top 4 in Axiata Arena, waiting to just battle it out. And it looks like RQ Hoshi is on par for revenge here from the Indonesia Grand Finals, because right now what we know is it all comes down to one single game ahead of them. But before we get there, our panel, we have to hear their thoughts on Game 4.
The Bandung Brawl never ceases to amaze. You expected a certain kind of matchup when it comes to these two teams, and you get that certain expectation because they're going all the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to Game 5 for this upper bracket semi.
And technically, if RQ Hoshi can pull this off, that's a reverse sweep in their hands. Now both sides, one more match to go. Trex, we did it again, the 50-50.
I'm blaming it on RQTLID. Reverse sweep, just like what happened in the upper bracket in MPL ID. So, I mean, maybe it's not us. Maybe it just is what it is.
We had nothing to do with this.
We had nothing to do with this at all. 10 games in one day. What more could you ask for from M6?
That one is on us. Speaking of on us, let's break down that 11-minute game. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, RRQ just seems to be going faster and faster and faster. That's a carry line, but here it was Skylar's Beatrix that actually turned it up a notch. How often do you see a Beatrix actually build a Sky Piercer? That's how locked in, that's how fast King Skylar saw this game coming.
Yeah, and then also able to deal the damage, the lethality coming out, able to pretty much execute them when they're super low. And it also is credits back to the draft, just getting witty, uncomfortable, Iran, uncomfortable, right? Forcing them on these picks and playing into the palms of RRQ Hoshi.
If there were maybe one more hero that actually needs to get in there, play in the paint, maybe Witty's Belleric would have done good. But here, what was the best you could do? Like stop the Jawhead from getting a good unstoppable force, you know? Maybe stop Suchujin from marching in too happy, but that aside, even Dyron doesn't mind getting hit with a Dryad, Wrath of the Dryad, because he's gonna stomp in anyways.
Yeah, and on top of that, Frigid Glacier comes down. Rin's played so cleanly over that game, but I love how you mentioned the Jawhead because IDOC, man, I'm starting to feel like it's not just Witty. It is a battle of the roamers because right now IDOC is also on fire. He's doing what Witty was doing those first 2 games. He is all over the place making plays happen.
IDOC is keeping TLID honest, and now it makes more sense. Now we understand why in the first phase, why alongside the Suyo, RRQ Hoshi picked up the Aurora. Rins has 100% kill participation in Game 4.
Locked in, and speaking of locked in, Skylar as well. I mean, you saw the snipes come out. He wasn't missing any opportunity, and they seized the day. The castle still standing against the siege from TLID.
And I can't help but say, the Cavalry seems like they're stumbling and they're stopping and slowing down. This draft, there was nothing wrong with it, but that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not pushing RRQ's buttons the right way. It's pulling back to, I hate to say it now, the worst hits of this series for Liquid, right? It's that early glue, and then it's that weird Belleric from out of nowhere, and even I'll say it now, the Alpha on Favian just doesn't hit the same way it did back in MPLID, back in pre-M6.
I think the Alpha for a lot of junglers, I think it's one of the reasons we haven't been seeing as much. It feels more niche than meta almost. It does really well against those bulky things like the Hylos, the Hilda, some of those natures. But taking a look at this gold graph, I mean, it is just a downhill slope for TLID.
All it scored was the second turtle.
That's it. No tower, nothing.
And even with that second turtle score, it still went downhill from there. A steep crash down to a 10,000 deficit, which led to RRQ just taking the game. I didn't even notice it was 11 minutes. I just knew that Liquid was in trouble.
It was a very fast match, and you could just tell the momentum has shifted to the other side of the playing field. RRQ Hoshi, very comfortable so far. Even the fans behind them, the castle is gathered, and they are cheering for their team. One more match to go between these two amazing teams, and the question is, who is going to win the 50-50 for game number 5?
That's right. The kingdom has come alive, and they are here to cheer on their king. The MVP for game number 4, it's none other than Skylar on that Beatrix, digging deep into his hero pool, and luckily, Beatrix actually pretty good at this metagame. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. Like, she's an A+ pick.
Yeah, definitely an A+ pick, not a niche pick at all. And that feels like the gold lane in general. Bruno and Granger seem to be the only real standouts, and everything else is completely fair game, especially in the hands of Skylar, especially in the hands of one of the best gold laners right now at M6. And he just showed why he's dominant. I love how you pointed out that Sky Piercer because, I mean, he just knew, right? You just know sometimes when you are ahead, when you are winning, when you're stacking up the kills, it's time to go Sky Pierce.
Haskell, forget about it. Like, we're here to end things. We're here to take names and make heads roll, and that's what that Sky Piercer was. Let's roll through the highlights and real quick revisit the very fast 11-minute game.
Yeah, just a lot on the table for RRQ Hoshi to clean up. Just some great placements from IDOC on this Jawhead as well. You got to see some excellent gameplay, pretty much a one-sided domination from RRQ Hoshi, and I think we all agree it began in the draft. After they got Team Liquid ID uncomfortable, it led into the gameplay. It bled over into the Land of Dawn, and they were able to just get them mentally.
You know how soon Skylar built the Sky Piercer? It was his third item.
Third item.
Yep. So he went Malefic Gun, and then Blade of Despair, and then he said, forget about it, Sky Piercer.
Okay, so but what's interesting is that's been one of the toss-ups between a lot of Beatrixes. Do you first pick Malefic Gun or do you second pick it? Pico's one of the gold laners who has been first picking it, and now it seems Skylar is one of the gold laners who has also first picked the Malefic gun. And I think against the Harith, it kind of works well. Harith has great poke in lane. He's able to clear those waves, so it gives you a little bit of an answer to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It all comes down to this. Can Liquid ID pull out a new trick from out of the bag? And here's the thing. This is the Brawl in Bandung, right? We're going to go all the way anyways. Do you think it's going the way of Fnatic Onyx versus Falcon? Is suddenly the one who started the series off strong going to pull out a clean and as close to normal draft as it could go for the Cavalry? Is that the direction we're hoping for?
They're running out of options, right? They have to be very textbook about this and not play into the hands of RQ Hoshi in the beginning of the draft. They cannot fall for these setups to get Witty and Aaron uncomfortable.
These are the questions and the words I'm using because game 3 and 4, they did seem like games. I'll be honest with you, like there was very little fight from Liquid ID.
But it was the same way in the first two games, right? It felt like RQ was kind of getting smothered a bit in some of those games. We really, I feel like we haven't gotten to a game that, that 20-minute pressure. We haven't gotten to that moment where it could go any way at all.
Like a true back and forth.
A true back and forth. We haven't seen it just yet.
Could it be this one?
I hope so. I mean, we're here now, We're at game 5.
If it's not, then womp womp, right?
Womp, exactly.
If it's not womp womp, like what else does Coach Saint De Lucas and the Facehugger have in their blue little notebook? Like how many ways can you gallop? How many ways can you ride out into the sunset and force a game 5 and come back at the end? Quick palate cleanser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's try and test how deep our stock knowledge of MLBB esports goes. Here's a trivia bit for you. That's right. Riddle me this. Here's the question of the night as we prep up for game number 5. Our past few questions have been real brain benders. Here's one. Who was the highest damage per minute in a game in the M Series history? Like who has the highest damage per minute?
Is this player or hero?
Meaning player or who meaning hero?
In any M Series.
Player?
Player.
I'm guessing it's player, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to break this down. Yesterday, Skylar had the most kills of any M Series. So with that being said, it could be Skylar once again. I think it's a gold laner for sure.
Yeah, Skylar's been around.
Yeah.
He's been to what, 3 M Series now? And consistently performed.
Or could it be like Kelra on an Assassin?
No, Kelra, this is Kelra's first M Series.
I mean, not Kelra, Kyrie.
Kyrie.
On like an Assassin pick.
If it's burst.
It's a mid laner.
Okay, clues, folks. It's a mid laner. Type in chat, get in there. Who do you think it is?
That is a really good question. And
Echo, M4.
Sanji or Few?
Sanji, that's a good one.
I'm going Sanji.
I'm going Few. That's my guess.
Anything?
Folks in IOI, y'all can guess along too.
I'm going Sanji.
There may or may not be a prize. All right, here we go. We're going to reveal the answer. It is Sans.
How
Keep
could I forget about
Sans.
with the Novaria.
He did 9.4K with a Novaria M5. Wow. So that means homie is just Star Shatter Pow. Whoop. Star Shatter Pow.
You know that game went the distance. Do you think that was last game? Do you think that was the grand finals?
Could have been. I mean,
possibly.
Which games did he play Novaria in, right?
We don't got time for that.
We could check in. Manny was giving us all the hints. He's like, it's an M5. It's a mid laner.
He knows what game it is. He just doesn't want to tell us.
Daddy Sean was also whispering in. I am curious, or I'm going to look into this because I'm going to lose sleep over figuring out which one it was. But I got good news for y'all, folks. Game's about to begin once more. Let's go on stage and resume this bout. One more game. Satu. One more in the Bandung Brawl rematch here at the M6 World Championships. The knockouts. It's the upper bracket semis. Only one of these teams lock in for Axiata for the first time for this young cavalry, or will RRQ make their pilgrimage successful back into Axiata where it all began?
It's been a long, drawn battle. a war back and forth, which once looked like it was going to be in favor for TLID, but then you got to see RQ Hoshi would stand their ground and turn this back around.
You want to talk long haul? You want to talk about a journey? RQ waited half a decade to go back to Axiata to try and reclaim glory.
Fair.
5 years, sir.
Another good point is, who did FNOP say they wanted to face in the upper bracket finals?
They're besties.
RRQ.
So what's Liquid here? It's just like, hi.
So, we'll see you later, maybe.
It's Fabian. I want to solo kill King Kong.
I want to solo kill King Kong.
That's what it is. Folks, here we go.
They're like, whoa, he's kind of scary. Let's just...
Game 5 proper is upon us. Here comes the draft. Liquid on the play. Banning out the Bruno and the 1-1 and the Phoveus, while RRQ take out the Fanny, the Hilda, and the Matilda. All according to plan. Fabian picks up the Suyo.
And they ban out the Phoveus this time, the change up, the switch up. Last time we saw the Eve open, RQ, it is detrimental to take this Eve right now, because if you don't, it goes into Yehezkiel's hands. And I think that is the last thing you want. They also lock in the glue, so we have a bit of a reverse swap TLID. Bruno?
And Cho, both of them could definitely be picked up right here, could be a possible threat, and this could be the window of opportunity that TLID was looking for.
So I guess Aran just eats dirt? Because that's what happens, right? Like, so far, whenever Aran doesn't get the glue or the Hilda, they just leave him to the second phase, and then what does he do then?
Well, it's either we secure Aran, or we secure Yehezkiel and Witty right here. Those are your choices, right?
All right, here we see the Granger first, and then the Cho. So Weedy now finally gets his pick here. Is this wise, all puns intended, to have Yehezkiel in the second phase again? Because you're going to end up with a frontline mage, and then what do you do then?
It's definitely going to be very challenging. Well, technically, Barza's still on the table. Barza is still available.
Not for long.
Not for long, though.
You can go edge to edge. Do they ban the Farsa and the Vixana come second phase?
There's Valentina, too, but...
We saw what that did.
Yeah, we did.
There is a clutch pick that could come towards the end if it doesn't get banned out.
What is that?
The Lu Yi's open. Could see the Lu Yi as a very end of phase pick. Oh, hold on. This is not
a drill. Ladies and gentlemen, the first phase alone. This is game 5, Shenan's afoot. I asked Sutsujin, the mercenary here, to his face. This was a first pick remix. I said, Sutsujin, what hero would you use to describe yourself? He said Ling.
He is Ling.
He is him.
Ling is him.
He is putting all the cards on the table right now. Now, you know who else could be picked up technically because there's a glue on the other side? The Faramis could sneak up in here.
To me, it's Faramis or Vixana. Like, both do the same thing, just to pop those glulings.
That's true. And both can be very effective. But with this Ling on the table, right? I mean, you have that invulnerability with the tips of blades. You have the mobility to cut to the side lanes. It's going to create an element for RRQ that TLID has yet to face this entire series.
It's a tempo breaker. It's a gut check. It's like, hey, are you ready to face this? Game 5, do you have anything left in the tank to face Sutsujin's signature pick? It's up to Fabian now. It's up to Flavor Flav, the usurper, to try and shut things down. The Ruby, that's Edoc special banned out.
You know, they won their game yesterday with the first phase Ling pick against Vamos. Were able to clean through. So this isn't, I think, this isn't like uncomfortable for them. How is it going to work? I think it really depends on how well Edoc, Skylar, mid are able to control, and the XP lane are able to control, because Sutsujin's going to need a little bit of time to get to those pop-off moments.
There's the aforementioned Lu Yi. So it's just down to the Vixana, the Farsa, or the Faramis. Odd one out. Which one is likely to end up in the hands of the Ghost of Jakarta? One last ban for Team Liquid ID, taking out Edoc's favorites. There's the Franco.
Now, oh, this is getting spicy. You know what? No, because I have CEO already, so This is going to be challenging. The Faramis could be good because they'll have sustainability, but they'll be lacking in the crowd control department with just only Cho to kind of rely on. But technically, they could flex that Cho into the XP lane. They could still maybe go for something with more crowd control in the XP lane as well. There's still some options.
This is an odd Belleric. I got a feeling because, yes, it stops the Cho, but that aside, there's nothing else it really interacts with in Liquid ID's draft so far. So it might feel like Widdy's Belleric from Game 4.
And at this point, TLID, I'm guessing most likely we see a range mage. They could go back to the Novaria if they wanted to, something of that nature. Of course, the Ling caused a little trouble with that. Ling answers to a lot of, it's almost a future sight to any of those backlines. And with the Lu Yi gone now, yeah, you got to pick something a little closer to home.
So very double poke lineup. There's the Hylos going into the hands of Aran. What does the Ghost pick up? What does Yehezkiel end up with?
That a little girl.
It is!
I've been waiting for this pick.
Tis a debut. We're at 74 unique picks now in M6.
Let's make it 75.
Nope. Ooh, worked on that.
We tried.
Nope.
So close.
Iritel, a specialty pick for Skylar, making its breakout in the MPLID Season 14 playoffs. This is the final lineup for the final game in this best of 5. One of these teams are headed to Axiata as we head to the desk with Ingan and Naisu.
Thank you so much, panel, for breaking down the draft one last time. It's getting a little hot here, man. This is now the second match going the distance. And again, we wouldn't have it any other way. This is the spot top 4 and Axiata that we're talking about. Ingan, there's another new pick here that we get to witness and now brought to the table. Let's take a look at the draft one more time. Who are you feeling more for Game 5?
I mean, in terms of the late game, you can't go wrong if you have a Lilia or Cecilia. In this case, for TLID, first time picked Lilia for Yehezkiel. But on the side of RK Hoshi, man, Sutsujin brings out the Ling along with one of Skylar's signature. The Irithil is back.
The Irithil is back, and will it be enough to cap out a win here? Is it going to be the Kingdom RQ Hoshi, or will it be the Cavalry Team Liquid ID? The revenge for both teams on the table here going into Game 5. The endurance test of TLID after being 2-0, and now RQ Hoshi has brought it down to a single game, just like we saw earlier. Now talking about the draft here, the fact that Yehezkiel's brought out so many new heroes. From what we've seen in the mid lane so far, now how are we thinking this Lilia is going to work against a pick we see so often in the Eve?
Yeah, I mean, he did put out a Savior, even the Novaria. A lot of first-time hero pick was cause of Yehezkiel, but Widdy, very, very aggressive. Just they want to put control on the mid lane, as what we've seen in their first 2 game wins, and that's what they're planning to do up against RRQ again.
So they're going to have to do. Widdy, so aggressive and so proactive on the Cho. He might get, sometimes a little overzealous and get punished, but nonetheless, he's had a phenomenal performance up to this point. And looking at the emblems here, this is the other thing. Susujin, like our panel said, they asked him. He is the Ling, and he runs the Warcry here. Fabian, though.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Quite low. A good response coming in from RQ Hoshi. There's a thought from Idok to Widdy, and he's now going to focus his attention onto Rins. All the while, Yehezkiel just trying to poke down Sutsujin.
Wow, there's enough of moves there.
Forcing out the Tempest of Blades early on. That was a good play coming in from Yehezkiel. Now Fabian, he has the Queller, not going to connect. Sutsujin remains unbothered.
Really limit testing, in the early game at this point, already getting those Tempest Blades out. Oh, in a hook! Fabian goes in and picks up the kill. That's a solo kill right there, and now Turtle for the taking.
Okay. All the while, Sutsujin just focusing on his purple buff, while Yehezkiel zoning out the jungler of RRQ Hoshi. TLID starting out strong. A kill for Fabian, plus secures the turtle.
So already off to a good start, Team Liquid ID, based off that whole interaction they had. Even right now, it's proven a point that actually this Lilia pick's really good, able to slow things down. The Bloom's always a surprise amount of damage early on, even before she gets items. So still, RQ Hoshi gonna have to adjust from it. Nothing too crazy to work from. They are playing with the Ling, and we know how important these buffs are gonna be in the rotation for the Ling, for Sutsujin. Relying on the team to help him out if the pressure starts. That's the one thing you want to avoid, is a too big of a lead to build for Team Liquid ID to the point where they're just always in Susujin's jungle here.
Yeah. But at the same time, RRQ Hoshi, they have to wait for the fact that Sutsujin needs to scale up. And looking at the proper targets that he could go for, I mean, Yezgil has the black shoes, so at any given moment, if Sutsujin decides to dive, he can just pop off that black shoes and remain safe. And Sutsujin is not gonna get the kill that he's looking for.
That's part of it. There's the initiation already. Idok out of the picture again. Sutsujin will jump in.
He dives in with the Tempest in play. It's gonna connect onto 4, but when he manages to flicker out, here comes Skylar though. No casualties yet for TLID once again, but they were able to take down Idok. Not a strong start. A 0-2-0 for this Belleric.
Yeah, very tough. Even utilizing the Revitalize that time, but still just overloaded with damage. You know, kind of dealing with this. Again, 0 and 2. He's going to be fine, though. Diamond will take some damage. They still might look to fight even further around the purple buff.
Just the Ring of Punishment just being a thorn in the neck for the whole squad of RRQ Hoshi. And now they're trying slowly, bit by bit, applying a bit of a pressure onto the jungle of Sutsujin. Again, this is a link that scales up pretty well towards the late game. That's why TLID, there's an internal pressure for them to try and get a huge lead early on, but if ever that fails, or if ever RRQ Hoshi manages to extend this game towards the late game, Yezikiel comes in with the Lilia.
Again, Turtle up for the taking, a couple shots happening, and Sutsujin will make his way for this one.
Okay, Dyron just doing his work, zoning out, here comes Split plus real manipulation, all the while Windy is there with the backline, gonna connect with the Wave of the Dragon, and still Rince gets the turtle! Here comes the counterattack coming in from RRQ as they take down Aran, but TLID, the rest of the cavalry on the attack, gonna bring down Idok and Dyron.
So again, still exchanging. Fabian on the hunt, Rince trying to get back. Fabian not going to be able to follow through on that one. So they break out Rince. Luckily, yeah, gets the turtle there. Does pick up the glowing wand now. Big part of the kit here, of course, for the Eve to set things up. But that was the thing, too. You know, both the gold laners relatively just kind of having a chill time in that gold lane against each other. Skylar does have the Haas Claws now. Hunter Strike here over on the other side for Aaron Shiki. But look at the pressure here on the tier 1.
Oh, are they going to commit the Wave of the Dragon, though? Okay, Windy for a turtle. For a turret might not be a bad trade for TLID, because again, this is where their lineup kicks in. They want to go for objectives as much as possible, because towards the late game, you cannot. It's hard to go up against a Sutsujin that's scaled up perfectly. Not to mention, Skylar is also rocking an Irithel.
Yeah, this is the part too. You know, because of the fact that Fabian was part of the early kills that he got, he is scaling up. As long as Sutsujin doesn't go down, he's able to go ahead and just keep focusing on the farm, then at least you're in a position where you're not too outscaled. You should be able to go ahead and fight. And again, it's one of those things with a Ling where you can always just try to go ahead and sweep on in and maybe steal the Lord, or at least cause enough of a chaos situation where then it comes down to a 50-50 for the Retri. But right now, it's RRQ Hoshi just trying to keep things from getting too out of hand. Witty has been a nuisance, a part of this. Oh. Both junglers here.
Jungler 1v1, okay. Sutsujin just really feeling the damage of the Sever. But again, if you're going to look at the 50-50s in terms of the neutral objectives, Fabian has a slight advantage, I would say, because of the Sever Retribution combination. It's like saying, it's like the Appraiser's Wrath or Retri combination that we've seen with the Fredrin, even the Ult of the Balmond plus the Retribution combination. So TLID can actually, there's not much problem or pressure that they have to think about when it comes to Sutsujin out-retrying Fabian.
Third turtle's up. Again, getting in position. Frontliners there at it. We'll see them set it up now.
Okay, set up. Real world manipulation. Here comes Sutsujin though. Is he going to go down as Darwin goes with the split? Gonna get caught up by 4 here as Aran. Okay, he has to revitalize, but is going to get bursted down by Sutsujin.
Whoa!
Here comes the split.
Still there.
Still there, gonna get ganked up by 3. He's gonna fall down in the hands of Fabian, but all the while RRQ gets the turtle plus the kill. So right now you can safely say RRQ won that trade.
RRQ, I mean, a lot of the times that's Dyron's job. You know, he just tries to do things for the team, whether that's a turtle, whether that's a turret, cuts them off and keeps them focused on the goal for now. Sutsujin will pick up the Haas Claws. They'll also get a turret down. Berserker's Fury now too for Skylar. So 2 items locked in. Looking at how the farm's going, you know, relatively well. Well, right now, Fabian and Aaron Shiki at the top of the standings. They've been doing a great job at just kind of keeping the pace. Aaron Shiki will start to shine later on, already nearly there to the BOD. Does pick it up just now, so Hunter Strike and BOD for Aaron Shiki. He'll start joining the fights a lot more now, especially as we lead into this Lord about a minute away. And RQ Hoshi, they can utilize the split pressure they can put on the map with a Ling if they want to. But still, he's going to have to go ahead and be mostly with these team fights for the objectives later on. Just because, again, even if it's just to steal with the Retribution. But Susagen's done a great job at just staying alive. Still trying to cover some ground here, but man, like, these ranged shots here from Team Liquid ID is what they have to overcome.
The warning shots coming in from Aaron Shiki, making sure that Edok cannot just zone out the members of TLID, making quick work in the minions in the middle lane. And now looking at Widdy, he does have a good position with the brush. They might be able to take a pick off onto Skylar if Skylar decides to go back up top.
See how they go it again. Look at the positioning right now. Skylar approaching.
Okay, here comes the wave, the Dragon Flicker combination. Red Spike back with the real manipulation, but they're trying to cut off the exit route. Here comes Aran. Here comes Winnie once again. He's E-killed with the glooms. Gonna bring down two. RRQ Hoshi, no answer as Sutsujin is just trying to go for the bottom lane push.
He pushed in the lane a little bit. Lord's gonna come up. But man, TLID got two in exchange. They make their way to the Lord, they'll start it up. And Susujin, we'll see if he can pull something off, but he's gonna get spotted out by Widdy. Not sure if he's gonna be able to actually find an angle or a window to go in here. Dyron already taken the damage, split off. Okay. There's the kick.
Here comes the glorious pathway. Widdy just trying to zone out Sutsujin. Forced to use out the Templates of Blaze. Here comes Skylar though, gonna pick up again all to Aran. And now a double man knockoff coming in from Widdy. Araki Hoshi not backing down, trying to poke down Widdy. And now they're back on this Lord fight.
Enough to go ahead and stall things out and go for the reset. Both teams might just wait. Aran almost back up. Still, Widdy, blade armor now for him. We saw Skylar's damage already to preview it when he pops that heavy crossbow. But now they set things up. Edok still on the front side of it, has the Revitalize nearly available. The Wrath of the Dryad. So they'll find themselves in this situation now, fighting for the Lord here. And despite this lead, even the poke coming out from Aaron Shiki, of course, he is going to have to be able to respect some of the damage coming out in return, but neither team can actually commit to this Lord just because of how much threat there is in around this Lord pit.
Yeah, and at the same time, with you can't just go in for the Jit Kundu combination because of the presence of Edok with the Belleric. Once he sees or once he feels that Widow is going to go in for the engage, he can just cast the Wrath of Dryad and just foil the plan of TLID. And for the same time, RRQ Hoshi, it's not easy for them to just really try and go for the backline because again, the glooms that Yeskill has been doing, 303 KDA, it's been a thorn in the neck of RRQ Hoshi, honestly. That's why Yeskill trying to zone out the members. Here comes Dyron though. Is he gonna cast a split real manipulation coming in from Rins. Aaron Shaky just dishing out the damage with the Rhapsody. Rins has to flicker away. Aran caught in the midst of everything. There's the glorious pathway. Windy with a kick and gonna bring down Dyron.
Dyron already out of the picture again. A Lord goes for a reset. I think it might just be a full reset again, even with Dyron out of the picture. So still, neither team wanting to fully commit. They continue to test each other's limits. Susujin will go ahead and grab the purple buff. Edok trying to provide that vision, but TLID still wants to poke them down.
Oh, they want to go for more! And gonna bring down Edok! Susujin got stunned and got bursted down by Aaron Shaky! TLID executed that to perfection! 2 kills plus the Lord!
The patience from the Cavalry will help them win that fight. Again, they took their time, they poked from a distance, and then they collapsed down at the right moment. Now RRQ Hoshi on the defense. Again, with this Lord pushing in, they should be able to hold it together. They might lose that tier 1, some of the tier 2s, but they're still in the game. Skylar has been able to go ahead and farm up now, 3 items locked in. But you see where the difficulty is for RRQ Hoshi. It's the range battle. And that's been the case almost every single time, especially when a Granger is across from you with a Suyo. And right now, they're going to watch the tier 2 in the mid lane fall to this push from Team Liquid ID. Again, Aaron Shiki taking a couple shots on Susujin. He has to go back, quarter of the health left. Lord still make its way on the top side, and RQ, they'll get ready to defend, utilizing Rins' RWM when they try to push in. Not sure if Widdy's going to go under and through. They're going to go in.
Okay, Cheat Kondo is there. Real world manipulation coming in from Rins. The Glorious Pathway is also there, and they're going to make quick work of the Lord. No inhibitor turrets will be taken down for the side of RRQ Hoshi.
Clearing it out. Susujin dealing with that bottom side. Ultimately, dealing with the Lord, they're going to be fine, but they are going to lose still more in the jungle. You're seeing the gaps here between the gold lane, between nearly every single lane. at this point. And you got to start to think, all right, RQ Hoshi, how can they actually turn this game around? How can they win a team fight? Even if it comes down to the base, it might be up to them. But Edok, this Belric has not been working out the way they've wanted to. A lot of times he's just kind of slowed down and caught out. Yehezkiel as well. You know, the Gloom's enough for burning him down. I mean, this guy's got the Enchanted Talisman, the Glowing Wand, and the Wishing Lantern. And it just seems to eat away at the tankier members here of RQ Hoshi.
Yeah, honestly, the Belric, it's more of a reactive type of hero wherein you're going to wait for TLID to go in full commit with the dive and then cast a Wrath of Dryad. But TLID knows this. They actually used this previously.
Yeah.
And they know how to work around the Edok. So right now we have to commend Aran because Aran's been providing a lot of vision for TLID, enabling actually Widdy to find the proper angle for those Jeet Kune Dos. He doesn't even need the Way of the Dragon. The Jeet Kune Dos alone has been connecting to at least 2 members of RQ Hoshi, setting themselves up for the burst that can come from Aaron Shiki.
And now you got to see Halbert locked in here for Aaron Shiki. He's also got the Wind of Nature, so he has enough defensively, but also offensively to deal with that healing, that sustainability from RQ Hoshi, whether that's the Revitalize being dropped down, but so far, even without the Sea Halbert, they've just been able to overload the damage. I mean, look at the shots here. Able to just take down, you know, almost a half health with the Destinado alone. The fight once again for the purple buff with the Lord coming up. RQ Hoshi, they're going to have to deal with that, so it looks like no purple for Susujin. And we know this is a tough place to be if you're a Ling and you're also just this dependent on the purple buffs. We'll see if they can make a play elsewhere, because right now, Team Liquid ID wants to make their way to the Lord.
Yeah, but they're not going to burst down the Lord just yet, because again, Fabian actually uses Retribution, because that's how much they know how valuable is the purple buff for Susujin. A scaling type of hero needs that purple buff. So right now, TLID, they're just going to play it safe, wait for Fabian's Retribution to be up, and again, look for a proper angle for Widdy to deliver the Way of the Dragon that Jeet Kune Do. And the beauty of the lineup of TLID, because of the range that's coming in from Aaron Shiki, it's not even just the Jeet Kune Do or Aran's Glorious Pathway that procs the Tempest of Blades from Sutsujin. Even just the Death Sonata alone will sometimes forces Sutsujin to use the Tempest of Blades right away. It's
almost enough, and I like that. I like how Widdy was just kind of waiting with Fabian there, even as they were pushing down that bottom side, the long lane from this Lord, just to make sure that he can rotate and he's going to be fine, especially when the Retribution's up. So that time is now. Susujin picking up the BOD. They'll get the information they need. They're going to rely on Diamond and Edok to go ahead, but it's already going to be taken out. So Fabian gets the Lord. They don't want to fight this, so it looks like RQ Hoshi will just go ahead and get ready for a defense again. Now breaking down the lineup, they've got a great high ground defense. They've got a great lineup that can actually defend to the base, but right now they want to go ahead and get this purple buff for Susujin.
They're going to fight for the purple buff, forcing Jiren to use the split once again. Here comes the Death Sonata coming in from Aaron Shiki, but it's going to get blocked by Rins. And now Widdy looking for another angle. Susujin just desperately trying to get this purple buff, and TLID will successfully steal it away from him.
All right, so he's not going to have the buff for this. And just, we see this so often now, especially with how popular Granger is. And now that you have a Sky Piercer there, part of the equation, man, you got to have the team to body block the shots, because the Death Sonata is really starting to hurt. Widdy picking up this immortality means that he's probably going to force a fight, force a situation or a reaction, utilizing the flicker into the base when they get this ready to set up here. So RQ Hoshi, Skylar, this is his time to shine on the Aerithil. Again, this Aerithil has done wonders for the teams that have brought it to their games. But right now it's dealing with a ranged battle. Rins will also get a Divine Glaive, so perfect timing on the base defense as they try to clear things out. They get the black shoes out.
Okay, they're going to force out the black shoes, plus the Tempest of Blades. Here comes the Ryan, going to cut out the exit drop with the Glorious Pathway. They're trying to chase right after Susujin, but they're not going to mind him anymore. Sets their eyes on the inhibitor turrets.
They got the black shoes, they got the flicker down. They still have to deal with the Lord here on the top side. RQ Hoshi wants to hold on to what they can, even if at the expense of the base turrets. Rins though.
Oh, real manipulation, forcing the black shoes once again. This might be a go signal for RRQ Hoshi, but Fabian says no. Cutting off RRQ Hoshi. But still, that was still a good attempt for the Kingdom, because instead of losing all inhibitor turrets, they only lost one. And a lot of credit goes to Susujin because they forced out Yezekil's black shoes right away.
Yeah, I would say successful defense by RQ Hoshi, holding down the walls of the base. Right now, 2 turrets still up, despite being down this much. still got to give it to their lineup that they have here. Able to go ahead and lock things down. Rins as well. This time they still get a position because they want to go ahead and allow that purple buff to be secured if it can and go in the hands of Susujin. It's going to work on the orange for now, but still, again, RQ Hoshi staying in the game. If they can drag it on a little bit further, they might actually be in a position to contest the next Lord that comes up here, because nearly itemization-wise, they almost have everything they need, at least damage-wise. Now, tankiness, they got to build up a little bit more. Susujin also picking up a Malefic Roar. Idok, you know, he's along the way. He's got an anti-Cuirass and a Radiant Armor. That's why you just kind of see him dealing with a lot of the damage. I mean, as tanky as he's supposed to be, as the Spellrick is supposed to be, it just doesn't feel like it. And it's not like you're going to be able to just surprise anyone because of the fact that, you know, they're going to see you coming from a mile away. Yeah, exactly. And they're playing against, too, a Glorious Pathway. Arana's been a really good... I mean, look at this. Look at the Gloom damage.
Okay, they're gonna try and work on the Lord and try and burst it down. Energy with that Sonata. Just look at Edok soaking up the damage. Too much. Aaron Kiki might get a kill onto Edok there. Susujin trying to survey the scene. TLID still holding on to this Lord.
Edok able to get away. RWM dropped down. There's a Glorious Pathway, though. And the Lord still for the fight.
Susujin goes down. Templates of Blade gonna try and catch Aaron Shiki, but waiting with a Jet Kanto kill. Assisted him off to Aaron Shiki for that huge takedown. An answer for RRQ to bring down the run. Direct Immortality will be popped and gets a flicker out to safety. But Aaron Shiki, does he have the ultimate, though? Argyoshi manages to lose Susujin, but TLID also got the Lord.
The little glue's trying to catch up, too, but I'm surprised Tyron stayed alive. Great usage of the flicker. They might, of course, be able to hold on still, as Susujin will be up in 20 seconds. They will have the rest of the waves to deal with, but by that time, also, RWM will be back. They'll have everything they need to go ahead and go for the defense, even the Revitalize perhaps here, depending on how long they stall this out. Susujin now seconds away from being up, and Team Liquid ID still down Aran. We'll see how they manage this push in. They might just get the 2 base turrets left here.
3D charging up the Cheat Kundu. Again, he has the flicker plus the immortality, so they're not afraid to dive in all in. RRQ Hoshi just making quick work of Blurred up top. No inhibitor turrets taken down once again. Still so far successful defense for RRQ Hoshi, but this might change if TLID manages to find a proper angle.
Still, these powered waves pushing in. Not sure if they're actually going to be able to get this. They do get a Black Shoes already out, though, from Yehezkiel. So again, Glorious Pathway, they want to take the bottom turret down.
Okay, gonna try and work on the bottom lane turret, but RRQ Hoshi was ready for the response. Wow. Still saving one more hit of that turret, making sure that the walls of their kingdom are still there.
RQ Hoshi will have, again, you can chalk it up to a successful defense. 21 minutes in as Skylar picks up the Malefic Gun. And this has been enough time. Again, even the fact that a nice Queen Wand now in the hands of Rins, a fight that isn't in favor of Team Liquid ID around the next objective could turn this game completely over on its head. Dyron, though.
They're going to go full commit onto Dyron, forcing his split.
Fabian!
Oh, Fabian with the Queller! Making sure to break down the tankiest hero of RRQ Hoshi. And now they're in trouble because TLID, they can feel the push that it's coming in onto the middle lane.
They saw what Dyron did earlier. They're not going to let it happen again, and now in the mid.
Waiting with a conceal and a double man knock-up. Jade Kundu forcing the Templars of Blades. And I'm just soaking up the damage. He does have to revitalize now. And RRQ Hoshi lost all inhibitor turrets. Aaron Shiki sets his eyes on Susujin, but Susujin manages to evade that. They lost Dyron and all their inhibitor turrets.
All the inhibitor turrets taken down. You gotta give it up, though, because it's been discipline that has played the part to Team Liquid ID, slowly but surely exposing the base now of RQ Hoshi. You can take a look at the items here once again. Skylar, I mean, finally he gets that Malefic Roar too, so he's locked in, but look at the amount of gold over here for Aaron Shiki. Even down to the point where sometimes just switching some of the items. And now that this Lord is up, again, we're gonna see if they're able to actually go and fight it off. Dyron and Edok gets whittled down by these damage dealers, even the Blooms alone. Difficult enough to actually find a window to go into here to contest this Lord right now as Fabian holds it together. Witty's positioning as well. Might look for a play, but they take their time. This has been the story so far for Team Liquid ID, is just taking their time when they know that they have somewhat of an advantage against RQ Hoshi, but still respecting how this can change in the course of a team fight.
Yeah, there's a fat wave up top building for TLID. Eventually, someone has to deal with the wave up top as Sutsujin works on the purple buff. Just look at the Death Sonata forcing Rins and Enoch to walk away. Aran cuts the exit route off with a glorious pathway, but gonna get a shutdown onto Ezekiel. A kick coming in from Winnie. The Vertate will be popped and will be brought down by Aaron Shaky. The Death Sonata was just too much for them to handle as Sutsujin will fall down. Now they have to worry about the minions.
The minions are already pushing into the base, but the Lord is secured by Team Liquid ID. And yes, RQ Hoshi will defend the base for now. But again, for how long? And now almost 24 minutes into the game. You already saw how difficult it was. Sutsujin is just showing up the front side, gets taken out in a Winter Crown and a Rose Gold Meteor picked up. Now for this push in, Lord making its way in the mid lane. And this is going to be the true test for RQ Hoshi. This could change the course if they can turn it around. A couple immortalities for them. And still holding on to that Wind of Nature. Now Lord makes its way into the base. How do they pull this off? Winnie goes in.
Okay, there's a conceal. Not gonna commit the Jeet Kune Do. Here comes the glorious pathway. They can actually focus on taking down the Crystal. TLID moments away from repeating history and bringing down the kingdom.
5 games. And history for now will be repeated as the Cavalry goes through the gates of the kingdom. RRQ Hoshi, as now they're one of the teams to represent Indonesia in the top 4 and going to Axiata Arena. What a match we had. What an evening of matches we've had. Absolute great gameplay, absolute cinema for a lot of people that would be watching this. Again, from the first match to now, it's been great to call the games here. Again, I'm Nice2, that's Singon. We're going to throw it back to the panel to break down the last game of the series.
A match and what a day. Liquid ID secures Axiata, extending the journey back to where it all started for the kingdom. Gentlemen, was that last chapter in this 5-game series of an epic worthy?
Definitely worthy. The Cavalry able to withstand their siege and push through the kingdom of RQ Hoshi.
Yeah, I think it was, we got our 20-minute plus. We got our 20 plus on there, so I'm happy with it. I wish it was a little more back and forth. It felt more like RQ was kind of hanging on, just doing the best they could to make that last as far as possible. In the end, TLID, though, a methodical approach, able to just come out on top, get those Lords, get those objectives, and eventually smother down onto RQ.
We gave Liquid ID an ultimatum. Come up with something new, a pocket pick, a pocket strat to put them back on the up and up, and here they did. They brought out and debuted successfully a Lilia in the hands of the Ghost of Jakarta, and luckily, despite not picking up a pure